Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Clarke Park on a sunny Sunday afternoon for Prairie Junior matchup. The Regina Thunder taking on the Edmonton Huskies.
So, Rob, you took your wife to
There are no lineup changes for today's game. Don't forget to get your 50-50 tickets. 50-50 will be on sale until the end of the third quarter. Also, clothing sales for the Edmonton Huskies 2017 is available in the southwest corner of the main grandstands. And the Huskies would like to thank their supporters, the Edmonton Eskimos, Eskimo Excavators, Hertz Reynolds, Gender-Based Violence Protection Program, Jason Gregor, and PSN 1260, 2020 Photographic, and FC Edmonton. Also, the Huskies are continuing with their family and friends charter airline to away games. Take advantage of a convenient, comfortable, and exciting way to support the Edmonton Huskies Football Club. Access the Huskies football team airline charter flight on North Caribou Airlines for same-day travel to and from a Huskies regular season game this season. Next up is next Saturday, September 30th at Winnipeg. Go on the Huskies website for more information, including pricing, and grab a same-day flight there and back. Cheer on the Huskies when they take on the Winnipeg Rifles on Saturday.
Dylan, tell them to put their headsets on. Okay, here we go. I think we're good. Missed the board. All right. You know that we have a lot of kind of interesting flags thrown today for the back judge.
Why do you say that?
I know where the back judge is. He's a different guy, boy. Oh, yeah.
He likes to call the holding, does he?
Not just the holding. Like there will be some phantom interference calls, and you know, he just
Number of illegal blocks.
for the Huskies now at the...
Welcome to week 7 of the 2017 Prairie Football Conference season on ICU Video. Good afternoon, football fans. I'm Kevin Donnan, your host and sideline reporter for this afternoon's contest between the visiting Regina Thunder and the Edmonton Huskies. And what a matchup it is. It's a potential playoff preview and a battle for first place. The Thunder come into this game tied for second in the PFC with 4-1 with their interprovincial rivals, the Saskatoon Hilltops. And the Thunder believe they can score an upset victory here on the road and go back to the Queen City in first place. But standing in their way are the 5-0 Edmonton Huskies. And many observers say this will be the Huskies' first real test of 2017 after victories against the Colts twice, the Wildcats twice, and a victory on the road against Windsor. There's lots of questions to be answered here at Clarke Park, and we're going to find out in exactly 2.5 hours' time. Let's send things upstairs to Dave Rozak and the coach, John Belmont. And Dave, I've got another feeling. Last night in our ICU Video doubleheader, the Wildcats scored their first victory in 2 years. But my feeling for this afternoon's contest is that we're in for one whale of a ball game here. Guys, let's take it away.
All right, ouch is the only word that I've got, because this is going to be a game of attrition, John Belmont. There's no question about it. These two are very big, very tough teams.
They're very physical, and they're very well matched both offensively and defensively. And because of that, with first place on the line, home field advantage might be the most important thing here.
And, you know, coming up in the rest of this season, as Kevin mentioned, this is going to be the toughest part of the season for the Edmonton Huskies. They've got, of course, the Thunder today. They've got the Winnipeg Rifles next week in Winnipeg, and then after that, the final week of the season, the old Saskatoon Hilltops. Does it get any tougher than that?
Doesn't get tougher, but it's a great way to go through the season. It's better to go a little bit easier to start with and then be ready to roll when you hit the tough part of your season.
Do you think as a coach this is exactly the kind of finish you want to test your team going into the playoffs?
Absolutely. You want to be flying high at the end of the season against very tough competition.
Well, the interesting, I guess, story of this football game is the departure of Chris Calcutt. He is the top receiver in the league going into this game. He is out with a collarbone injury and may be out for the rest of the season.
Well, that's going to hurt any team to lose a receiver that caliber. One thing about the Prairie Thunder that I do know, they're very well coached with their receivers, and the young man who steps in might be pretty good too.
They have got a stable of receivers that really any team would love to have. Maybe not all of the caliber of Calcutt, but still nevertheless a very talented group of receivers, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they are utilized with Calcutt out of the game.
That's very true, and one of the biggest things that they do very, very well, they have a balanced attack like the Huskies have. Mm-hmm. So the Huskies are going to have to stop the run, number one, before they worry about that passing game. And then the passing game of Regina, it is based on timing. They have quick release with their quarterback, and it is tough to cover.
Well, the one guy that they really have to worry about, speaking of the running game, is a fellow by the name of Victor St. Pierre Laviolette. And so far this season on 44 carries, 339 yards, and 3 touchdowns as well. So he's one that they've got to watch.
They do, and, you know, the biggest thing is they got to play their defense the best way they can and let things shake down. Here we go.
All right, and off the opening kickoff, the ball is down in Wildcat territory. And even though the ball was stolen at the last minute, this football game is underway. And it should be a great contest. Well, on a perfect day for football. I mean, you don't get any better than this. It's sunny. It's about 12 degrees and just great.
Oh, it is. You just couldn't ask for a better day for football. Very little breeze blowing. Perfect.
Brad Lonhart, starting quarterback for the Edmonton Huskies. Jimmy Arias in the backfield right off the top. Lonhart going to the middle to Arias. He sneaks out of the backfield and takes the pass for a gain of close to 8 yards on the play. And right off the top, that quick release by Brad Lonhart that he does so well.
And what they're trying to do here is the possession passing game right off the bat. This is interesting to see how Coach Walters wants to attack the Prairie Thunder.
All right, so it's second, and we'll call it about 8 Off the middle once again, Airy. Airy breaks through and is tackled at about the midfield stripe for a gain of close to 15 yards on the play. And boy, right off the top, they've got that running game going. And Jimmy Airy, when he gets his legs moving, he's tough to stop.
He is, but we have a flag on the field, and I think there's an offside here. I don't know if it's against. It is against the Huskies. They're moving the ball back. See if we can get a number. One of the wide receivers who was supposed to be up on the line of scrimmage was not on the line of scrimmage, so they played without an end. Illegal procedure. Now, we've talked about this before, Dave. This is what drives coaches crazy. You practice this all week, and the guys got to know what they're doing. They have to be where they're supposed to be.
All right, so the ball is moved back to the 31. It's for a 2nd down and 8 for the Huskies. Little play action, looking to pass. Come in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Down there was number 5, Harrison Cable, and he was being double covered, but perfect pass by Brad Lonhart.
That's the second pass Brad is throwing, both of them right on the money, and if he continues that, he's going to have some good success. That being said, Harrison Cable should have had that ball. He didn't focus it in, and the Huskies show a little bit of rust here, and we'll see what happens now with Regina getting the ball for their first.
All right, so the Huskies will be forced to kick this one away. The punt coming from about their own 20-yard line. Low snap. Spiraling football comes down to about the 50-yard line and run out of bounds. Taken there by number 17, Avery Pierce from North Battleford. And from there, the Regina Thunder will take over the football. And we'll get our first look at the man that a lot of coaches in this league and around the country think is the #1 quarterback in junior football in Canada, Sawyer Buechner.
Very, very good, but it's going to be interesting to see. There's a 15-yard penalty or a 10-yard penalty holding call, and that takes him back to the 40. And that's quite a bit of difference, being on the 40 or the 50 in your own territory. Now, are they going to run the ball first or are they going to pass?
Sawyer Buechner in at quarterback. They work out of that I formation, 3 or 2 flankers to the far side. There's the handoff, goes to the left. It is Laviolette, as you might expect. And he is stopped quickly before he even reaches the line of scrimmage. Probably lose a couple of yards on that one. And the Huskies smelled that one out nicely.
They did. The excellent flow. Oh, we got a penalty. Another. They gave the procedure sign on that. I don't understand this.
It was a late flag. There was no question about that.
But they're calling it procedure. I think they'll decline the penalty because they had no gain on the play. This would be 2nd and 10. That's awfully late for a procedure call.
Maybe he had a tough time getting the flag out of his pocket. But you're right. No, it did come well after the tackle.
Yeah, but excellent flow by the Huskies. Their defensive end had good contain. Linebackers flowed well, allowed no gain.
And they did decline the penalty, so it'll be 2nd and 11, a loss of 1 on the play. 3 receivers on this side, heading downfield and throwing is Buechner, and it is almost picked off, and it is complete just over the center field stripe, taken there by number 7, Jesse St. John. St. John coming into this game with 13 receptions for 244 yards, so watch for him in place of Chris Calcutt, the injured Chris Calcutt.
And again, it looks like his favorite receiver might be not so much the player as the position. And he went to that position. And here we go again with a quick pass in the flat.
Laviolette taking that one for a gain of about 8 yards or so. So it'll be 2nd and about 2. Ball on the 53-yard line. And quick tempo offense here from the Regina Thunder. And I'll tell you what, in there and hitting him and holding him up very quickly was Donovan Bergmeyer, coming off his linebacker position and doing a great job.
And then Pearson, the young rookie from the other end, finished it off. It was very quick play. Again, now the Huskies have put them in a situation, a 3rd and short. Can they stop them?
There's the pass. It is complete at the 38-yard line, or make that 41-yard line. and it's a gain of about maybe 4 yards. It'll be enough for the first down, and so the Thunder's march continues here early in the first quarter.
Now, Regina twice now has gone to their back in the flat in either first down or second and short. And the way the Huskies are playing, they're playing a zone, and they're having some problems with that.
The handoff to Laviolette, and he is stopped. A gain of perhaps a yard on the play, and right now the Huskies defense is playing that run well.
They're playing the run well, and now they've got to start playing the pass better. Now, are they going to jump into little man coverage and jump these routes, or are they just going to toughen up their zone coverage and react quicker?
3 flankers on the far side, and looking that way is Buettner, and Buettner's pass is complete at the 30-yard line as he fires it into the middle this time, and it's taken complete by Levi Paul.
Now there's a case you had a blitz and a man coverage behind it. The Regina's line picked the blitz up beautifully. Very good timing by Buettner, and put the ball right on the money on a dig route.
All right, Laviolette takes a break, and in the game now is Ethan Houts, their second leading rusher. Rolling to his left, Buettner's pass is incomplete. Intended out there once again for Levi Paul. And Paul, the target of a couple of passes, he comes into this game with 28 receptions on 337 yards and 4 touchdowns.
So you know he's a go-to man. Now they'll probably change up their pattern on this, and we'll see if he goes back to the rollout or he comes back with a drop. He seems to pass better out of the drop back.
Motion goes to the left, and looking that way once again is Buettner. Buettner's being hurried, and he is tackled for the sack, and in there was number 27, Brett Vanderkorpen.
He came off the edge very well on this, and it's that little blitz that they like to do, and they couldn't pick up the block, and he had a clear shot at the quarterback. Now, again, Buettner did a good job holding on to that ball because he got hit pretty hard.
Almost a blind side, really, looking downfield, and Vanderkorpen coming in from the right side, doing a good job. So the loss is about 4 yards, be third and long, and this will force the Regina Thunder into a punting situation. Huskies waiting for the ball down on their own 5-yard line. Short spiraling kick taken at about the 12, taken there by number 35 for the Edmonton Huskies, and that is Jacob Battenfelder, and Battenfelder is stopped after a run back of about 7 yards.
Now, one thing with that, if you notice, this punter twice now, he's punted the ball not very deep and a little bit low. I would suspect in that situation, I was looking for a field goal. The way the wind is, so maybe their place kicking isn't that strong. I don't know. But that only would have been about a 44-yard field goal.
Wind coming out of the southwest just about. All right, there's play action. There's the pass complete into the middle once again from Brad Lonhart to number 5, Harrison Cable. And this time the Leduc Comp High School graduate holds onto it. And it's a first down, gain of about 12 on the play.
Well, it looks like in this game, Dave, that both these quarterbacks are sharp. And this is the best I've seen Brad throw the ball this year. We'll see if he can continue to do it, and I believe he will. It's double tight now.
Jimmy Airy in the backfield. There's the play action once again, and getting it away just in time and complete at the midfield stripe, taking it over to the 50 to the 45 and still going, and finally tackled at the 40-yard line is Connor Bergeson out of Salisbury Comp in Sherwood Park.
Now there they ran that little crossing route to Connor, and a very well set up play. They went double tight and then brought him across with flow going the other way. Cleared pretty well.
Gain of close to 25 yards on that play, and the Huskies offense on the move with Lonhart. There's the swing pass to Airy. He's got all kinds of room on the far side, makes a couple of moves and is finally tackled at the 20, and a gain of close to 20 yards on the play. A great job on blocking, too, on that far side.
Very good blocking, and when you see that kind of blocking, you know the team is aggressive and fired up, ready to play.
Tempo offense now for the Huskies. Ball on the Thunder 20-yard line, rolling to his left, ready to take off with it. There's the shovel pass to Airy, and that may have been a bit of a broken play. I think that was something that Lonhart probably decided at the last minute, because I think he was calling his own number on that.
I think he was rolling this side, and they had a little bit of good coverage downfield, and he just saw area there and popped him. I don't know if he'd do that again. He should have probably taken the loss himself.
All right, once again, it is Lonhart passing, man wide open, and it bounces off the ground just in front of Connor Mickle. Mickle was so far all alone, it was an easy touchdown.
Now here's the situation, I think, and I could be wrong on this, but it looked to me like Brad Lonhart on that play aimed the ball a little bit instead of just letting it go. He was so open. Quarterbacks will tend to do this at times, so he underthrew the ball.
That's when you've got too much club in your hand and you want to baby it.
I guess.
All right, this field goal attempt coming from about the 25-yard line. Ball is up. It is through the uprights.
Cole Sabrin has been kicking the ball extremely well this year, and the snap, the pin, both very good. So the Huskies take a 3-point lead.
So Cole Sabrin, the leading scorer in the Prairie Football Conference going into this game, and leads the league in field goals made as well. And there's one reason right there. He has a terrifically strong foot, if that's a word.
Well, he's got a strong leg. He does kick the ball very well. Now, if you take a look at the Prairie Thunder are taking the ball in the 35, they don't like Sabrin's leg either on kickoffs. It's tough to return on this team.
Ball on the 35-yard line. Buechner at quarterback. He bobbles the snap and then hands it off to Laviolette. Laviolette tries the outside, but coming up from his DB position was number 10, Justin Hodinsky from Cold Lake, and he smothered Laviolette before he could get moving.
Now, Justin read that very well, and they know from their scouting reports they like to run that play on first down, and as soon as that ball was out there, he was heading for the corner.
Gain of a couple.
Did a great job.
Gain of a couple. It's 2nd and 8. Ball on the 37-yard line. Motion this time goes to the left, and looking that way and rolling that way is Buechner. Buechner is hammered just as he gets the ball away, and it's almost picked off. And doing a great job of coming up and knocking it away was number 6, Dagbarani Wandi. And if I may be mistaken here, but I think this is his first game.
Yeah, we got a holding call here, and they're going to decline it.
Okay.
So it'll be the Huskies will be getting the ball back.
Let's go downstairs. Once again, here is Kevin.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave, from the Husky sideline. And the Husky coaches are pleading patience right now, especially with the offensive line. We overheard Brian Marshall, the offensive line coach, telling his guys to stay with your blocks, be patient, because they figure a big play is right around the corner. But Husky coaches pleading for patience right now. Back up to you guys.
Eric Maximiuk from Regina is the kicker for the Thunder, and he will be getting this one away from about the 25-yard line. Gets a low spiraling kick down to about the 40. It's taken there by number 85 for the Huskies, and that is Keaton Zachkowski. Zachkowski breaks a couple of tackles, still going, and all the way down to the 19-yard, they make that 18-yard line. Just a great job by Zachkowski, picked the hole nicely.
He really ran it back nice, but this is for young punters and people to understand, a low punt allows for good returns, and you can't get your blocking set, or you can get your blocking set up quite easy, and you can't get your coverage down quick enough. And Zachkowski showed a lot of his dad in him there. His dad was a heck of a runner too.
Keaton Zachkowski saw his first action last week against the Wildcats and is back in there and is quickly becoming their number 1 punt returner. All right, you've got Brad Lonhart at quarterback, and he was going to call a timeout. Didn't like what he saw. Was yelling some orders out there, but he decides to call a timeout himself. Good move by the veteran.
Brad saw something he didn't like, and I don't know whether it was in coverage or with the front, but whatever play they had called, he thought it wouldn't be a good play. So smart by him. I mean, you're in scoring range here. You don't want to waste a play. And this, some people would say taking a timeout this early could be foolish, but I know with Coach Walters, he knows what his kids can do, and he tells Brad, if you feel you need a timeout, take it.
5:11 to go in the first quarter. The Edmonton Huskies leading the Regina Thunder by a score of 3-0 in what could well turn out to be an all-important game for both these teams in terms of home field advantage for the playoffs. I know it's an exciting day for the Huskies. Even talking with Ian McLean a couple of days ago, you know, he tried to hide it, but I know he was excited about meeting this team.
Well, they're two very well-balanced teams and both playing extremely well this time of year.
All right, motion goes to the left. There's the play action, and the pass, it is complete at the 10-yard line and taken there by Connor Bergeson. And Bergeson, that's, I think, twice now or 3 times that he's been able to find the seam.
They're hitting the ball again. This is the second time Brad has thrown the ball a little low, and he didn't have to on that, and he threw a little bit off his back foot. We'll see what happens on this play.
Second. There's Lonhart, handoff, left side, taken there by number 22, Brant Burzak. And that's our first look at Burzak in this game. And he carries it in over the 5-yard line to about the 4, and more than enough for the first down. They mark it at the 3.
Little zone action there, and of course Burzak, he's so quick, and he got what little seam there was and just drove his feet to get the first down. Now they're sitting in pretty good position.
All right, Burzak is the lone setback. Motion goes to the left. Ball on the 3-yard line. First and goal. Handoff. Burzak, he's got room. Touchdown!
Very nice play set up there. They bring a receiver down, bring him across, and then bring him back out and lead with him. And Burzak just followed him right into the end zone. And the Prairie Thunder, they fought inside. They thought that play was going inside, and it basically went off tackle. Very well executed play by the Huskies.
So with 4:07 to go, the Huskies in the first quarter, the Huskies leading this one by a score of 9-0. And here comes the point after. Ball is down, it's up, and it is through the uprights. We do have a flag on the play. And it looks like it's going to go against the Regina Thunder.
This will be added on the kickoff, and it'll be 15 yards. So the Huskies will be kicking off from the 50, the plus 50. And with the way Sabrin kicks, his ball could be through the end zone.
And there's that handoff once again to Burzak, and I tell you, he had all kinds of room.
He did. It was, again, I said that the way the play was set up and the scheme of it really caused Regina to do something that they really don't want to do. It was very well executed play.
By the way, the officiating staff for this afternoon's game, the head referee is Kyle Miller. The umpire is Terrence Blundell. The field judge is Andre Leduc. The back judge is Larry Leduc. The side judge is Romeo Kabongo. The head linesman is Jordan Tatoski. And the line judge is Sean Smith. And the Huskies getting ready to kick this one away. And they should be able to get this one deep into the end zone.
I think what they'll try to do is just pin them just inside the end zone and let them come out with it and try to hold them inside the 10, 15-yard line. Oh, no, he drilled it. He drilled that through the end zone.
And through the end zone for the extra point. I tell you, you gotta watch the leg of this young guy. I mean, he's got a big win behind him as well. Now I'm looking at the goalposts, John, and it looks like we've got a pretty good win coming right out of the south.
That does help. Now the one problem with that kick was it was low.
Yeah.
And for him, it was good that they had the penalty because he was able to get it through the end zone. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if he'd kicked that and they got on, say, 5 yards deep in the end zone, you had the same situation that happened with Zukowski. They've got the opportunity to get a good return.
And so once again, the Regina Thunder will have to start out from their own 35-yard line. Play action to Laviolette. There's the pass into the middle. It is complete at the 50-yard line. And the receiver gang tackled by about 3 or 4 Edmonton Huskies, but a good grab on the play by number 1, Levi Paul.
One thing you see with Regina, their passing game is not just excellent. Quarterback gets that ball off on time. Before that receiver is breaking, that ball's in the air.
Gain of 15 on that play. So it'll be first down from the 50. There's the handoff to Laviolette, and he is hit in the backfield, but then gets away from the initial hit and picks up a gain of about 5 yards. It looks like the Husky defense seems to be keyed in on Laviolette.
Well, they seem to be. In that case, they seem to have him, and then all of a sudden he burst out of it, keeps his feet running. He's a very good running back. So they just got to make sure when they get in there they wrap him up.
Chase Elwood got in there very quickly, but couldn't corral Laviolette. And we have an offside as jumping in was Donovan Bergmeyer. May have had a bit of a rush going on that one.
Well, I think on this case, I think you had a situation where the quarterback hard counted, and Bergmeyer, instead of watching the ball, jumped on the count. Now, they had 2 linebackers up in that also, so they were going to bring heat. And we'll see if they do the same thing. This should be a first down.
Just short by, maybe the length of the football. I think they needed to get across the 50, and they didn't quite do that. So it'll be 2nd and 1 for the Regina Thunder, trailing this one by 11. There's the attempt by Buechner. Buechner is stopped, and it's going to depend on where they mark it. They say he actually lost about a yard on the play, and that Husky defense coming up big.
Now, the one thing we've seen here is the Husky defensive line seems to be getting real good push on the offensive line of the Prairie Thunder. In that case, the quarterback really didn't stand a chance. He took the ball, went to where he thought the bubble would be, and it just caved in on him.
So it's a loss of about a yard. It'll be 3rd and a little bit more than 1 yard to go. They need to get it across the 50 for the first down. Now we're operating out of the shotgun.
They'll pass on this.
Buechner.
This is the best part of their game.
Buechner into the middle, and it is short. Intended out there for number 9, Greg Lamb, and he was being well covered on the play as well.
He was being well covered, and it seemed to me like the receiver, number 9, was a little lazy on his route, and it allowed the defensive back to jump the route and come right over top on it.
Dag Barani one day in on the coverage, and he is a third-year guy out of Notre Dame College down in Red Deer. Played for the Cougars down there, and tell you what, he's been busy this first quarter.
Well, that's right, and they're working these guys pretty hard. It's good to see.
All right, Lonhart taking over the football. There's the pass. It is almost one-handed at about the 40-yard line. Jumping up for it once again was Harrison Cable, and just couldn't come down with it.
Just a little overthrown. Again, a good timing pass. Those things are going to happen. I think what's happening now, it looks to me like the Huskies are getting in that rhythm, and the Prairie Thunder is starting to push a little bit now, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens.
Back in the pocket, Lonhart looking downfield. He has a man open. It is almost picked off as jumping up in front of the intended receiver was number 26, Cordell Kadash out of Regina. He's already had 1 interception this season and almost came down with a second.
Well, again, the Regina Thunder on that, they dropped into a zone and they tried to run across on that crossing route with Bergenson, and it was not a real well-thrown ball. And I think he threw right into the coverage.
All right, so it'll be punting time once again for the Huskies. A nice high spiraling kick. Going to force the receiver all the way back to the 15-yard line, and it is taken there by Avery Pearson. Pierce is going nowhere. Gets a run back of maybe 3 or 4 yards, but not much more than that. And the Thunder will be deep in their own zone at about the 18.
And there's the importance of a high punt to allow your coverage to get down the field. That was one of the best punts I've seen Cole Sabrin do all year. And he hung the ball up, and coverage got down very well.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 18. Regina Thunder trailing this one by 11 with 1:04 to go in the first quarter. From the snap, looking left, pass, it is complete along the sidelines and taken there by number 83. That's Jaquin Swan, and Jaquin out of Winnipeg, 14 receptions so far this season, including a touchdown and 193 yards in total.
Good safe pass and on his own defense, and Shane Samuels playing that boundary corner was off a little bit. Now they're in press coverage.
Everybody out and they go for the swing pass and then decide not to, and it's just thrown away. And that was just great coverage on this side. Once again, it looks like the defense is smelling these plays out.
On the top side and this side, they played press on the top side, tight man down here, and the end freed up, which forced the quarterback out. And he's smart, that Budner. He just threw the ball away. He said, "We'll come back and get her a little bit again." But the defense of the Huskies is playing outstanding football right now.
And a 2-and-out for the Thunder. And they'll be kicking into a pretty good little breeze out of the south right now. There's a low, wobbly kick down to about the 50. It's taken there by Connor Mickle, and Mickle is quickly knocked down. There is a flag on the play, and likely we will get another 15-yarder. Or did it bounce?
It bounced. I think it'll be a 5-yard. If it's no yards, that's what it will be. And it looks like that's what it is.
So down to the final few seconds of this first quarter. No yards is the call. And that will put the ball in Regina territory at about the 42-yard line. And a good spot from which to operate for Brad Lonhart and his Edmonton Huskies. Jimmy Airy now is the lone setback. Motion goes to the right. There's a handoff. And up the middle is Airy. A couple of great moves. He's still going and finally tripped up just short of the 25-yard line at about the 26. And after he got past that original line of scrimmage, that was all Jimmy Airy.
And he got a good burst in there, but he showed his power. He was hit twice in there and just kept those legs driving to get the first down. A very good run by Jimmy Airy.
And that is the end of the first quarter of football here at Clarke Park in Edmonton. It is the Edmonton Huskies leading the Regina Thunder by a score of 11-0, and a pretty good first quarter for both teams, but especially for the Huskies. And just want to remind you, speaking of the Huskies, they have some really great sponsors who helped them out so much during the season, and we want to say thank you to them as well. Hertz Equipment Rental, the Eskimo Excavators Limited, the Edmonton Eskimos, FC Edmonton, and of course the Glenn Sather Sports Medicine Clinic. Let's go downstairs now. Here is Kevin.
Well, thanks so much, Dave. And coming up at the half, my special guest will be Curtis Craig, the president of the Edmonton Huskies. And we'll have a chat about an exciting trip coming up for the Huskies. They will be traveling to Winnipeg next weekend. And there's an exciting offer for Husky fans to get in on that road trip to Winnipeg. And, of course, as we talked about right off the top of the broadcast, follow this team because there's a lot of exciting football. And as the Huskies get into the toughest part of their schedule. So make sure you tune in with us at halftime for Curtis Craig of the Edmonton Huskies. Guys, back up to you with not only is the wind starting to pick up, but so is the intensity down here on the turf at Clarke Park, guys.
You're no question about that, Kevin, and you know you're exactly right. And I think the Edmonton Huskies would really appreciate some hometown support when they move into Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Rifles pretty much assured of a playoff berth if things go well for them for the rest of this season. And I'll tell you what, they're going to be the Edmonton Huskies will be in tough against a very tough Winnipeg team.
They're in tough the rest of the season, and they know Winnipeg is a tough place to play to begin with, and Investors Field there, and the Rifles play very well in their home park.
They have a young man by the name of Mike Richot, who has so far this season carried the ball 63 times going into today's game, and for a total of 645 yards and 6 touchdowns. So, they're going to be watching for him and his running mate, Odin Ogadan, with 39 carries and 391 yards. They've got a great running game, no question about that.
They do so.
All right, so it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Edmonton Huskies. Ball on the 29-yard line, rolling to his right. Lonhart looking downfield, and now pumps it into the middle and just behind Jimmy Airy. Although Airy, I'm sure, thinks he should have had that one.
He should have had it. The ball was right in the hands, and I don't know if he took his eyes off it, but he just flat out dropped the ball. And very good coverage, man coverage by Regina on that, and they had everybody basically blanketed. The only one who was free was Jimmy.
And that's almost identical to that play just down at the other end when Lonhart was forced to shovel it off to Airy because the defensive secondary, again, was doing a great job.
That's right. We got a blitz coming now.
Back in the pocket, firing deep into the end zone. Man is open. Touchdown, Connor Bergeson.
Excellent play by Bergenson. He ran a good route, went up for the ball. He's in. He hadn't scored, and here it comes here. Now you watch it. He catches the ball and then dives and reaches across the line, and there it is, touchdown. Under control.
That's great piece of mind for Bergeson to be able to come up with that stretch and get it into the end zone.
Some people would tell you that putting the word mind and Bergeson together are not too. He's just a tough kid. He's one of those young men who senses the goal line, and he's going whatever way it's going to take to get it in there. He's going to get it in there.
18-0 in favor of the Edmonton Huskies over the Regina Thunder. And, we talk about playoffs and that kind of thing, and I know a lot of people keeping an eye on the Calgary Colts down in Calgary with a coaching change and everything that's happened down there in the last couple of weeks. They are taking on the London Beefeaters out of the Ontario Football Conference, and the last score we got was just starting the second quarter. It was something like 26-0 in favor of the Colts over the London Beefeaters.
This conference is Prairie Conference. Whether you have not won a game or whether you are 5-0, it is a very, very physical conference. And I really think that it's good that we're playing Ontario because they're seeing a different style of football.
Exactly.
And out here in the prairie, it doesn't matter who you are. You better be ready to hit on every play.
Well, they like the smash mouth football out here, and back east, if they can spread out the defense and play a wide open game, that's what they like to do.
They sure do.
There's the kickoff, comes down to about the 15-yard line. It'll be taken there by Alec Brass, and he runs it back up to about the 30-yard line.
And again, Dave, if you looked at that, a very, very high kick. It only went to the 15 because of the wind. But because of the height of the ball, the coverage is real good, and you hold them on the 30-yard line. They don't get to the 35-plus where you'd like to get.
All right, so Buechner now has the wind at his back, and the wind slowly increasing here this afternoon, coming directly out of the south. Buechner with the handoff to Laviolette. Laviolette tries the right side and is stopped in his tracks after a gain of perhaps a couple of yards on the play.
He's got 3 or 4. He runs low.
Yeah.
And again, he keeps his legs driving, but the Husky front is playing it well. Now they're in a position, I suspect they're going to have to throw the ball here. And we'll see if the Huskies bring pressure and where they go zone or man.
All right, gain of about 3.5 on the play. It'll be second. They call it 2nd and 6. And looking into the middle, the pass, it is complete at the 40-yard line and taken there by Levi Paul as Buechner just fired that one right into the ground, and Paul was there to pick it off the turf.
It was good man coverage by the Huskies on that. They pressed him, and very well executed passing play. The only place he could have put that ball was where he put it, down low.
And it's good for the first down, a gain of close to 8 yards on the play. And we have...
They had too many men in the huddle, and we've talked about this before. They had 13 men in the huddle. In a way, I feel sorry for coaches on this, but I like it because it really speeds up the game a little bit, and you can't get away with things. You got to know who's going in and who's coming out.
So that moves the football back 10 yards, and it's going to be first and long, about 20. Standing on his own 25-yard line is Sawyer Buechner. Buechner, play action, looks into the middle, fires long, he has a man open, and it is just over the outstretched hands of number 82, Lee Brown. And Brown, a fourth-year man out of Regina, just couldn't quite grab that one.
And part of that was Brandon Mellon had coverage down there, and he mistimed his jump. Mm-hmm. And he was fortunate because if that ball was right on the target, that was a touchdown.
All right, 12:52 to go in the first half. Huskies lead this one by a score of 18-0. 2nd and 20. Ball on about the 30-yard line. And again, Buechner looks to the middle this time and fires again into the turf, and picked up once again by Levi Paul. And he's going to be short of the first down by about 3 yards or so, maybe 4. It'll be 3rd and, well, they call it 5. So 3rd and 5, and The Thunder forced to kick this one away.
They have, and again, good coverage and well defense play. But that penalty is what cost them. And the play would have been good. It would have been a first down if it had been on normal 2nd and 10. Now,
right.
Would they fake here, Dave?
Eric Maximiuk is the punter. We're about to find out. High snap. It's pulled down by Maximiuk. He gets a good one away this time. It's a high spiraling kick all the way down to about the 20-yard line. It'll be taken there by the Huskies, number 85. And that, of course, is Keaton Zachikowski. And Zachikowski is limited to a short run back. So it'll be first down for the Huskies, and they are going to be at about their own 32-yard line.
Again, you looked at that punt, and he got good height on it, and Sikowski got it, and then what happened? He fought hard for about 7 yards.
Let's go downstairs, and again, here is Kevin.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave. And a member of the Husky secondary that's missing today is number 24, Gaetano Minto. He's nursing a bit of an arm injury, so he's missing in the Husky secondary. But you wouldn't know it this afternoon the way the defense is playing. But they definitely miss his intensity and his enthusiasm. And what a shot, guys! Right down here at field level, I could feel that one.
And a great job of holding onto the football by Connor Ferguson. Connor Ferguson doing a great job. Also missing out of that defensive secondary, actually at linebacker, is Darian Nitty, who is injured going into this football game, along with Gaetano Minto. And a chance for one day to show his stuff, and he's certainly done so far in this football game.
Done very well. Now, that last play, Bergensen, he took a heck of a hit. He just bounces up. That doesn't even faze him.
This is the pass along the sidelines. It is knocked down. And a little bit of hand fighting going on just before that one, but no call. And a good job by the defensive secondary of Regina to knock that one away.
Very good coverage down there. A good call, a good route by Edmonds. He might have got up and fought for the ball a little more, but that hand fighting, you got to allow that to happen. Both players were doing it, and just let it go.
Wes Apollon in on the coverage for the Thunder. It'll be 2nd and 10. There's the little play action and a fake and a good run by Brad Lonhart. A little bit of option on that, a little read option on that play.
It was, and he went down a little early. He was looking to run that. He could have got the first down. He might still have it. We'll have to see. I think they're going to say, well, they're going to measure it, and they should. The thing about Brad on that, he was worried about a helmet-to-helmet when he went down. But, you know, when quarterbacks go down and slide like that, the other guys they can't come over top of them. You know, they got to get into position. They're used to hitting. They're going to come after you. And if they dive when you're going down, that's another story. But that did not happen. And here it's going to be short, I think, just by the tip of the ball. My gosh, it's close.
By the nose of the football.
But here's where now they could very easily just quarterback sneak this. When you've only got an inch to go, you should be able to get that. And this line of the Huskies can get off the ball pretty well.
3rd and just an inch or two to go, as John Belmont mentioned. And a good job once again by Brad Lonhart. And again, he shows his experience out there.
He sure does. Not just is he a veteran, but he's a cool veteran. He understands what's happening. Now, he'll probably go over the right side on this, I would think. Over Gunnar Thoreau, his right guard, and his right tackle.
And you're absolutely right. He plows ahead and gets over the midfield stripe and actually will pick up a couple of yards on that play.
They picked up 2 or 3, and that was a pretty good surge. Again, by that right side of the offensive line, they got off the ball very well. And it looks like even in the running game they're doing that. They're getting good push on this front of Regina's.
All right, first down, ball on the midfield stripe. 10:19 to go in the first half. 18-0 in favor of the Edmonton Huskies over the Regina Thunder. Rolling to his right now, Lonhart looks to the sidelines. The pass, it is complete on this side to Sam Clayton out of Bev Facey. And actually, I think that's the first action that Sam has seen in a couple of games for the Huskies.
I believe you're right. He executed the route very well. Broke it off, and Brad put that ball right on the sideline. That's almost impossible to cover that route. And the only way you can do it is if you're closing on, you've got to undercut it. And if Brad sees that a few times, then they'll just run a wheel route, bring him down, bring him out, and turn him up, double move.
We have an injured Regina Thunder player down there, as you see on your screen, and we'll get a number for you. I believe it's number 18, Eric Maximiak, but we'll have to wait and see exactly who it is. Trying to get to his feet.
You know, an interesting aspect of this, Dave, you look at it, and we've got, 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. The Huskies up 18-0, and I can guarantee you there's not a Husky coach on that sideline that is comfortable. And Prairie football, anything can happen. Things can turn around so fast. So you have to continue your momentum and keep it going and keep that surge going.
All right, number 48, the injured player, Tanner Smith, and Smith is one of their leading tacklers going into this game. So far this season, he's been credited with 23 tackles.
Now, he's our Sam linebacker. That's the field linebacker that many times will move out and cover your number 3 or number 4 receiver. So what are they going to do now? Is the backup as good? These are things where you might take a look at attacking that position.
All right, it's going to be 1st and 10, ball on the 37-yard line. Huskies on the move. There's the handoff. It is taken by Airy, and Airy this time doesn't get as much room as he usually does, and will pick up a gain of close to maybe 4 yards or so.
I think he got about 5 on that, Dave. That was tough running, and it was pretty well blocked, but the linebackers closed very hard of the Prairie Thunder there.
All right, we'll call it 2nd and 5 then, and with 9:30 to go, the Huskies looking to the sidelines for help, and they get the call, and there's the play action to Airy. Pass along the sidelines, Bergeson. Bergeson is in for the touchdown. Connor Bergeson is having a game of a lifetime.
There's that wheel route we just talked about. Came out, ran the out, turned it up. We'll have a look at it here. Comes across. Oh, you don't see the wheel part of it, but he just went out and then turned it up, and there was a perfect ball by Lonhart.
Good job, too, by Connor Mickle as he grabbed a couple of DBs on his way to that slant route that he had.
Well, you know, and here's the thing that Mickle, over the last few weeks, and they've got this on film where they come out and they love to throw to him in the flat off of that.
Yep.
So the guys drop down on it, it opens everything up behind. And very nicely designed play and a well-executed play.
9:16 to go. 25-0 football game in favor of the Edmonton Huskies. And, going into this one, we thought it would be a close game. And I think more than a few people are surprised by how well the Huskies have come out and scored as many points as they have. I'm one of them.
Well, I'm not surprised with how well they're playing both sides of the ball. But I am a little surprised at how everything is clicking. Mm-hmm. Because Regina is not playing that bad.
No.
But everything is what the Huskies are doing. I have not seen Brad Lonhart be as consistent in his passing this year as he is today. Now, he was some games last year, but he's having an absolutely wonderful game up to this point.
Cole Saberin, the leading scorer in the PFC, ready to kick this one away from his own 45-yard line. Receivers waiting down. At about the 5, it'll be taken there by Laviolette at the 10-yard line. Laviolette finds a hole up the middle, but then it closes off quickly as he is sandwiched and hit really hard. In fact, out there was number 7, O'Shane Samuels. He banged into one of his own players, and right in between the two of them was Laviolette.
Well, it's interesting with O'Shane Samuels. He leads the league in punt blocks, and he goes after everything. He's like a guided missile out there. He just goes, and if you're in his way, you're going to get hit.
All right, we have a penalty.
Holding call. Holding call.
All right, it's a call against the Regina Thunder as they continue to run into penalty problems here in this first half.
Well, again, the Huskies are playing at a very good rate of speed, maybe more than what they've seen.
Pass is incomplete over the hands of Victor St. Pierre Laviolette. And that one was well thrown, way over his head.
I think what is starting to happen is on that play, that was young Pearson, the defensive end, and they're starting to get some pressure on him. And the quarterback's starting to get a little bit, I think, antsy with the pressure.
Laviolette, the lone setback now. He comes out of the backfield looking for the pass in the middle. Now it's thrown down around the 35-yard line, and it is taken by Regina Terrell Hall.
Very well executed play on that. He got back, he read it, and he passes that ball with excellent velocity. Gets the ball to the receiver very quickly.
Isaac Ford was actually the receiver on that one. And he picks up the first down. There's the handoff to Laviolette. He'll try the outside this time and tries to get around the corner, but the Husky defense strings that one out nicely and stops him for a gain of perhaps 3, maybe 4 yards on the play.
And what that was, it was an outside zone, like a stretch play, and they had 4 receivers on that side to come out and block. And the linebackers and the ends, they flowed everything out and kept it strung out, so he ends up with a 3 to 4 yard gain.
Vanderkorpet coming up and closing that outside off very quickly. Once again, Buechner looking downfield. In behind coverage, it is taken there by Levi Paul at the 38-yard line, and great catch, great throw, and in between a couple of defenders as well.
Very well run route. It was a corner route, and if you noticed, he kept going hard to the ball, and quarterback, he laid the ball out, so you no hanging that ball at all. He laid it out and forced the receiver to go to it. That's what you want to do on that route.
4 receivers to the right
executed
side.
play.
And taking off with the football now is Buechner. Buechner is stopped at about the 35-yard line, make that the 34. And he's going to be short of the first down, a gain of only maybe 4 yards on the play. So it'll be second and about 6.
And this is interesting because this is where you find, I find anywhere, the Thunder, they seem to execute these plays extremely well. Fairly quick pass could happen here.
All right, back in the pocket, looking downfield, and close to the end zone is Paul, but it's well over his head. Levi Paul being covered out there by number 33, Vince Schiffner out of Millwoods Christian High School. And Schiffner having himself a pretty good season, too, with about 16 tackles to his credit, but a good job of coverage.
It is, because he's a Sam linebacker, and he's covering that inside receiver and went out with him. Now, this is that same corner route they hit on this side, but he overthrew this one a little bit.
That's a couple now that Buechner has overthrown considerably. And maybe that breeze behind him isn't helping him as much as he thought it would. Here's a field goal attempt coming from the 41-yard line. They've got the length, and it is good. And so with 6:15 to go in the first half, the Regina Thunder on the scoreboard thanks to a 41-yard field goal by Eric Maximiuk.
And one interesting thing that I'm seeing out here, the Huskies gave up ground, but if you notice on that last pass how much it was overthrown, the play before, quarterback ran the ball. He was tackled, and he was hit hard just as he was going down by Brandon Mellon, number 15, the defensive halfback with the Huskies. That's how the Huskies play. They're going to hit you. They're going to hurt you. He had to come back and make that next play. Now, did that affect the pass? I don't know. It might have. That's why you hit in this game every play.
Well, we thought it would be a hard-hitting game because both these teams are extremely physical, as are most of the squads in the PFC. And certainly right now, as far as the physical play is concerned, and I'm sure that Coach Scott McCauley will agree with us at halftime, but right now the physical end of this football game is going to the Edmonton Huskies.
It is, and then again, can they sustain it? Because now the momentum's changed a little bit, and there's a low kick.
Comes down to the 5-yard line, up to the 20, looking for a hole, and stopped just shy of the 25-yard line. And out there to run that one back was number 85, Keaton Zachikowski.
Now there's a case I think Coach Reed Knox is not going to be happy with Keaton Zakowski. He kind of cruised up into the blocking, and he has to attack that. He's got to change the angles of the coverage guys to help his blocks out. When you cruise, you just give them angles. So it's just something he'll learn. He's a rookie.
5:58 to go in the first half. Handoff left side to Grant Burzik, and Burzik tries to cut into the middle, but is stopped after a gain of perhaps a yard, maybe 2 on the play. We'll see where they mark it. They call it a 2-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 8.
That was really well defended. They closed every gap off, and when he cut back, the gap was filled.
Brad Lonhart at quarterback. 3 flankers to this side and rolling this way. Lonhart now looks into the middle. He's got a man in behind coverage down to the 30. And it's going to be all the way for the touchdown. Chris Edmond from Queen Elizabeth. And I don't see any red on the field
down here.
Oh, there is one at about the 45-yard line.
That was thrown after the touchdown. I don't know if something was said or what happened, but it's right at the end. The Huskies have been looking for this play for Chris Edmonds right off the get-go from the start of the season. And he focused on that ball. It wasn't bad coverage. And the ball dropped in and he took off. This could be a good thing for the future for that young man, get his confidence up.
All right, we're going to wait and see what the call is.
It's after the touchdown was scored, I think, Dave. So I don't know if somebody said something on the bench or went on the field. There's something that happened.
Well,
but it's going to be on the Huskies, I believe.
Just watching Ian McLean down at the bench, and he is not a happy coach at this point. And it may have been against the Huskies. But nevertheless, it is a touchdown, and here comes the point after. Through the uprights, it is good. And with 5:11 to go in the first half, it's a 32-3 football game in favor of the Edmonton Huskies.
I'm waiting to see what a signal is on this. Here it goes here. Objectionable conduct on the Huskies. So they'll be kicking off from about the 30-yard, 10-yard penalty, so from the 35.
So this will give the Thunder good field position as they have to kick into the wind on this one.
They do, and again, this is an important point to get height on the ball, get your coverage, let your defense play football. The one positive about this is the Thunder had come down and kicked a field goal. Huskies come down and on their second play throw a touchdown pass. So it's a 4-point spread on that, but the momentum is back in the Huskies' hands.
And you got to give full credit to Chris Edmond. He did a good job of hauling that pass down. He was well covered.
He focused on it very well, and again, all credit to Brad Lonhart. He put the ball out there, so Edmonds did not have to slow down.
High end-over-end kick, just as you suspected, down to the 20-yard line, taken by Laviolette. He's up to the 30, gets by a couple of tacklers, and is finally knocked down just shy of the 45-yard line. Good run back by Victor St. Pierre Laviolette.
The one nice thing that Laviolette does on that is he gets up the field. And this is what I talked about the previous one with Keaton Zakowski. You saw how he cruised into it. Laviolette attacked it. And that's the difference. You can pop a seam when you do that, and you don't need much of a hole. You can pop one for pretty good yardage.
Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. And the Thunder send 4 receivers out to the far side of the field. There's the handoff to Laviolette. Laviolette follows the blocking on that side and picks up a gain of about 11 yards. It'll be enough for the first down. And again, that 4 receiver set on that far side, and that's where Laviolette heads to.
They run that stretch, and then he'd cut up. It looked like on the off-tackle spot. But what I like about him, when he cuts up, he accelerates.
Yeah.
He's got some, it reminds me a little bit of Burzik, and he's got that explosion.
All right, 4 receivers to this side now. And looking over here, passing to the sidelines, wide open, taken by number 9, Greg Lamb, and Lamb is knocked out of bounds, but not before he picks up close to 16, 17 yards on the play.
The Huskies could not afford here to let up. Again, momentum swings can be so fast in this game, and you've got the momentum, you want to keep it. So let's see if they can now tighten this up a little bit.
Defensive backfield playing well off the ball on that one, and now heading to his right is Buechner. He's got a man in behind coverage, and again over the arms of the receiver, Greg Lamb, and that's 3 of them now that we've seen well overthrown, but we also have a flag on the play. And
I think the Huskies might be offside on this. We'll see if it's procedure offside. No, it's on the Huskies. And defensive end, I think, jumped a little bit on that. And that would be...
All right, let's go downstairs, and here is Kevin.
Thanks, Dave. Well, there is a bit of an injury update from the Husky sideline. Number 56, Jack Hanna, looked like he was dealing with a bit of a hamstring issue. They've stretched him out. He'll be back in the ball game, but right now the concern is with Jimmy Airy right now, number 32, getting some attention here in the trainer's area. Guys, back up to you.
All right, looks like they are working on his right knee, or the back of his right knee. Here's Laviolette. Laviolette has some room on the outside, and this is where he shows why he is one of the top running backs in the Prairie Football Conference. Made a couple of great moves, and a lot of that was just all Victor Laviolette.
Very quick feet, inside moves, breaks outside, gets up field, and then another inside move, broke outside again, got up the field. First down.
First down, ball on the 20-yard line. And this is the most dangerous series that we've seen in this football game from the Regina Thunder. And Buechner into the middle, touchdown!
Had a blown coverage on that. I don't know who did blow the coverage, but he got upfield very easily. Very easy pass for the quarterback.
Lee Brown with that 20-yard touchdown from Sawyer Buechner, and for Lee Brown, his second touchdown of the season, coming into this game with 24 receptions and over 300 yards. And so a big touchdown and a good way to go into the dressing room with 3 1/4 to go in this first half. Here's the point after, and it is going to be good.
Now, on that pass, Buechner has such a good arm and a live arm. He gets that ball there so quickly. And yet it seems like an easy ball to catch. Some of these quarterbacks that throw as hard as he does, they throw what we call a heavy ball, and it'll break your fingers. I don't know if you remember Joe Pisarcik played for Calgary for a while.
Yeah.
He was notorious for that type of thing. And some quarterbacks throw a heavy ball, some throw a light ball. It seems to me like Buechner seems to throw a fairly light ball, very easy to catch, but a lot of velocity.
3:25 to go in the first half, and with that touchdown, the Huskies continuing to lead, but by a score of 32-10. And right now, the Huskies have to hit back. They have to come back and get some points on that board before the end of the half.
I think this is important again for that momentum swing. You'd love to get points coming into the halftime. And you got a 22-point lead, but that's not much in this league.
High end over end, down to about the 5-yard line, taken by Kate Zachikowski. Zachikowski looking for some room, finds a couple of holes, spins away from one tackle, and is finally knocked down at about the 30-yard line. A good 25-yard run back by Keaton Zachikowski, and he did exactly what you thought he should do. Let's go downstairs again. Here is Kevin.
Well, thanks, Dave. Now we've got a serious injury concern down here. Brett Vanderkorp, at the great defensive end for the Huskies, is getting a lot of attention. They're looking at his left shoulder. He came off the field in an incredible amount of pain. They're taking a long look, but right now he cannot get back onto the field for a while. He is in a great deal of pain. That left shoulder, a big concern here down on the Husky sideline. Back to you guys.
All right, 2 setbacks. The fake and taking off with it is Brad Lonhart, but he was going nowhere. I don't know whether that was a busted play in the backfield, but certainly a loss of a yard or yard and a half by Lonhart.
I think that was a zone read, and Brad just misread the book. He went outside when he should. Yeah, he should have handed off to Jimmy Airy on that, because he did have a seam.
And JB, another collarbone injury out there. And last night in the Wildcats game, we saw a couple. Then there's Chris Calcutt with a collarbone injury. There seems to be a rash of those going around this league. Here is Lonhart. Lonhart into the middle. It is picked off by number 40, David Williamson. And Williamson just stuck that one, no question. It was right into his hands and over the intended receiver.
That was actually, it was a ball that probably should not have been thrown. The zone drop was there, and you look at it, and there were 3 guys right around the ball. But now this momentum has totally changed into the Thunder's way, and we'll see what happens.
That ball intended for Chris Edmond, but nowhere near him. Here's the pass. It is picked off at the 20-yard line, and doing a great job of going after that ball was Justin Hodinsky. And for Hodinsky, his 2nd interception of the season.
Again, they were running a seam route on that, and Hodinsky closed on it hard, but so did the corner. I mean, the Huskies defended that very well. And, you know, the Thunder have had success with that route. That's what they scored their touchdown on. And, boy, he just closed on it very well.
So it'll be first down for the Huskies, ball on their own 19-yard line. Burzik is the setback. He gets the handoff and then cuts to his left and into the middle. Ball is fumbled, and it's going to go right back into the hands of the Regina Thunder.
Unless he's down by contact, and could very well be down. That's what they're calling. Down by contact.
Down by contact, and a gain of close to 6 yards on the play. They marked the ball just shy of the 25-yard line. And the Huskies now going into their tempo offense. 3 flankers on the far side, 2 on this side. Looking into the middle, the pass is over the head of the intended receiver, and that was Edmond, and just out of his reach.
Well, Edmond didn't fight for that ball. He had position. The ball was thrown exactly where it should have been, and he kind of casually reached up for it. You got to fight for that. If the guy's holding your jersey, you'll draw a penalty. But if you don't fight for it, you're not going to get the call. And these are the types of things that one reason that Edmonds has not developed to where we think he should be with this ball club. And I know that the coaches, they know the talent he's got. They want to see that next step.
3rd down and 5, and so as a result, the Huskies will be forced to kick this one away. Waiting down around the midfield stripe. Good kick. Way back to about the 45, and it's taken there on the far side by Isaac Ford, and Ford is stopped after a run back of about maybe 7 yards or so.
Now here we are again. Now the game's starting to seesaw back and forth, and the Thunder have an opportunity to get in and get points at the end of the half. Again, for a momentum change. The Huskies have to stop them to keep that out of their hands.
TSN turning point?
Could be.
Sawyer Buechner hands it off to Laviolette. He bangs into somebody along the line and then goes to the outside and is stopped after a run of about maybe 3 or 4 yards on the play. And a good job out there by number 53, Chase Elwood of the H.J. Cody Lakers in Sylvan Lake.
Another rookie, and he plays very well. He's a young man that got hurt in Windsor and didn't play for a while. Laviolette again on that play. Those 3 yards, those are all on him. He just drives. Works very hard. 3
receivers on the right side. Quick pass into the flats, and it is taken there successfully by number 17, Avery Pierce. And Pierce had to get to about the 41. He did. And so it'll be first down. And the ball now on the 39-yard line in Huskies territory with 1:29 to go in the first half.
That should be offside, I think, on the Thunder. Looked to me like they were trying to draw the Huskies offside, and they might have popped themselves offside.
Now, I noticed on that particular play, they started towards the line of scrimmage and then stopped, and then the quarterback, Buechner, claps his hands a couple of times. Then they took off, and that's one way of drawing the other team offside, too.
Well, it can be, and actually, you can't, by rule, you can't intentionally draw people offside. But what happened there, when he did that, the one receiver jumped. And so sometimes those things can backfire on you.
All right, it'll be 1st and 15 Here's the pass again into the flats, and it is taken nicely by number 17 for Regina. That's Avery Pierce once again. And he did a good job of holding on to that one. Almost dropped it, but grabbed it just as it was falling.
He did very well covered, but now puts him into a 2nd and 10 situation. And they're going to have to get that first down. And even though they got the wind behind them, I don't know if they'll go for a field goal here. They didn't in the first quarter.
All right, 2nd and 10, ball on the 39-yard line. Again, back in the pocket, and again looking downfield, wide open.
Yeah.
On the far side was number 7, Jesse St. John, and again, blown coverage, and he is tackled just over the 5-yard line at about the 4, but really blown coverage.
Absolutely blown coverage, and I don't know what coverage the Huskies were in on that, but somebody misread the call, and that cost them big time. Now, here's where this momentum change takes in. If the Huskies can stop them here, then they'll be all right. But otherwise, the momentum will be all in the Thunder's hands going into halftime.
Into the end zone, the pass is complete. Touchdown. And again, that quick pass to Levi Paul as he comes across from the left side and right into his arms for the touchdown.
Absolutely, and again, a nice, well-executed drive by the Thunder, and the Huskies made some mistakes defensively. Now, if you notice the last play, they started blitzing. And they're going to have to do more of that, I believe, to get in here and just play their man coverage and blitz to get pressure on that quarterback. Change his timing.
There's the point after. And with 44.7 seconds to go in the first half, it is now a 32-17 football game. And, boy, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a game of constant change.
Well, it could be. And the Huskies had all the momentum coming right up to about the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, the Thunders just moved the ball, quick passes, got a couple of breaks, and on coverage, blown coverages by the Huskies, and they scored. So these are things that the Huskies are going to have to get straightened out at halftime. Now, there's still 40-some seconds left. And it could be interesting to see if the Huskies come back and even get a field goal. It would make a difference.
Stay with us at halftime. Kevin will be busy down at field level talking with Ian McLean. And the good kickoff down to about the goal line. It'll be taken there by Zachikowski. Zachikowski is looking for some room and is stopped just over the 25 at about the 27-yard line, but there is a flag on the play.
Dave, that was going to be a fun interview until about 4 minutes ago. I'm a little bit nervous.
It's going to be holding on the Huskies, I suspect, from where this was thrown. No, it's going to be, this will be a UR against the Thunder. Now, this is a mistake for them because now the Huskies are only a few, probably 3 first downs away from a field goal.
And 37.9 seconds away from the end of the first half of this game. And they'd like to go into the dressing room, as you mentioned, with a little bit of positivity. Lonhart.
Zone coverage.
Hands off to Airy. Airy looks for the hole, finds it, and gets over the midfield stripe to about the 53-yard line of the Thunder, and got a great job once again by Jimmy Airy. And again, watching him, he's looking, he's got his head up, he knows where the holes are, and he's going for them.
He just bursts it.
Yeah.
His speed is fun to watch. He got the power with that speed.
Hurry up offense, pass into the middle, and it is over the outstretched hands of number 2, Connor Mickle. He went up for that one, just mistimed the jump a little bit, though.
It looked to me like there was a confusion in the pattern there because you had both Connor Bergeson and Connor Mickle within 2 yards of each other. That should not happen.
All right, 20 seconds to go. Ball at midfield, 2nd and 10. And the play action to Jimmy Airy, pass incomplete into the middle and just out of the reach of the receiver. And that again, a chance there for the Huskies, but unfortunately Sam Clayton just couldn't hold on to it. And we have another injured Thunder player down there.
There, I believe that Brad Lonhart held on to the ball a little too long. He lets that ball go earlier because the safety was coming over on that play. If he goes over on a little wider, lets it go a little earlier, you'd probably had a completion. And then you're in field goal range.
14 seconds to go. And let's take a look at that one once again. And I'll tell you what, that defender got the worst out of that one. There it is. And it looked to be number 25 for Regina, Tyson Hobrick. 26 is Cordell Kadash.
And he's the safety. And what he did, he was coming across when Clayton kind of dove for the ball. If you take a look at it, he takes his helmet right on the thigh pad. And you saw his neck jerk. So he could be concussed. He could just have a wrenched neck. But you'll see it here. Now watch him come over. Now you watch what he does.
Great job in slow motion here. Boom. Got the knee right on the head, and you called that one, JB.
And those hurt. Yeah. I'll tell you, it doesn't matter who you are.
So they've got the helmet off, and he will be going through that protocol. There's no question about that. There's a good shot from our camera up here.
Yeah, they're checking the neck out pretty good, and you don't mess around with these types of injuries. And the trainers now they've got such good protocols on these things. They know exactly how to deal with these athletes, and looks like he's going to be
just a little woozy.
I doubt if he'll come back into the game, but I think he's going to be all right. That's the biggest thing.
Guys, bit of an injury update from the Huskies sideline in terms of being ruled out for this game. Brett Vanderkorpen looks as if he will not return to this football game. He's got a bit of an ice pack over the left shoulder, so I would say Brett Vanderkorpen is ruled out for this game, guys. Big loss for the Husky defense.
No question about that. He is one of the heaviest hitters on that defensive secondary and linebacking core. All right, so the Huskies will be forced to kick this one away with 14 seconds to go in the first half. A little bit of a wobbly kick. It'll go out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. And again, a hit well after the whistle, but no call.
No call. They were both fighting pretty good, so I think the official said, "The heck with it." You know,
let's get inside of the dressing room.
You know, but that you got to let those things go. You really do. If it kept going, then he would have had to pull a flag. Maybe flagged them both.
All right, we've just got 7 seconds to go in the first half, and it looks like the Huskies are going to go into the dressing room with a 32-17 lead. But almost as important as that is the fact that the Regina Thunder are going to go into the dressing room with a bit of momentum on their side, and it's going to be huge to see what happens when they come out in the second half.
It sure is. It's, from having a 22-point lead down to a 15-point lead, it's quite a difference, and the momentum change is tremendous here. So right now the Thunder have all the momentum on their side.
All right, going to just stay with us here in the halftime as Kevin will be talking with Coach Ian McLean. He'll also have a very special guest, the president of the Edmonton Huskies, Curtis Craig.
No backup.
There's a point that is well made about Kadash. Kadash is the lone safety, and in fact, coming into this game, they had just one backup defensive back, and that was Parker Scott. Let's go downstairs, and we will have Kevin talking with Ian McLean.
Well, Ian, really a difference of the last 4 minutes of that second quarter. The momentum has really shifted. How do you get that back in the second half?
Oh, our guys should know Regina's a good football team. They have a very dynamic offense, so we have to make sure that we're sound in our fits. We have to have young guys step up and make some plays that we've been asking to do a little more this game than we have in the past. So they need to start making some plays on D. Offense is moving the ball, getting some big plays. They got to keep that going too.
The loss of Brett Vanderkorpen, how big is that for your football club going into that second half where you need to get heat on the quarterback?
Brett's a good football player. He's also our snapper, so we want to make sure that we have some young guys to step up and make those plays. They know their jobs. They've been saying it all year. Injuries can't be an excuse. We got to get going.
One final question. What do you tell the team? I mean, you got to finish the fight here. You've kind of let Regina back into the game. What do you have to do to finish this game?
We got to play every play. I mean, that's what's going to come down to. They're going to take their shots, they can chuck it up. So we got to make sure, stop the run, make sure we're playing good sound defense, and offense has got to keep making plays.
Okay, good luck the rest of the way. Thank you very much. Dave, Coach, that was Ian McLean, the head coach of the Edmonton Huskies, and we'll send things back upstairs to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Kevin. Didn't hurt a bit, did it?
No, not a bit, but a very determined coach going into that room.
We kid a lot about Ian McLean. Ian is a man of intensity. And it certainly shows in his coaching style. No question about that.
He
JB.
coaches like he played. He is a very intense offensive lineman. He coaches the same way.
You know, I kid him a lot about it, but he takes it in good humor all the time.
He sure does.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that first half. And statistically speaking, very even though the score greatly favors the Edmonton Huskies. Net yards passing 257 for the Huskies, 225 for the visiting Regina Thunder. And in net offense, the Huskies actually 314 yards to 260. And that pretty much indicates what went on down on the football field.
It did, but if you look at the stats for the Thunder, a lot of that was last 5 minutes.
You got that.
And that has changed the momentum in the game. Now, this is what Coach McLean said. We got to go in there and get our guys doing what they have to do. You don't have to be hollering at them in that. They just got to execute, do what they do well.
All right, tell you what, we'll go downstairs to Kevin Dunnan, and he has a special guest for halftime.
Well, thanks so much, Dave. I'm here with Curtis Craig, the president of the Edmonton Huskies, and I think Curtis is doing a little bit of scouting behind me. He's taking a look at the Fort Saskatchewan Falcons Adam team here, and Curtis is thinking, geez, you know, about 10 or 15 years, you just never know. But this game here, the momentum, as a coach and Dave were talking about, the momentum can shift at any time.
Definitely, and no lead is good against the Thunder. Like from their president, Bryn, down, they're a very, very good organization, and we have nothing but respect for them. And I'm certain with the momentum shift, they're feeling pretty good about how the half ended.
Now, this is a big 3 weeks for your football club. A lot of, observers say that you haven't really been tested. You're being tested today. But the next 2 weeks, or the next 3 weeks, I mean, this next 2 games plus this half, this is it really for the Huskies.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. I mean, we don't take any teams light like Calgary, the Wildcats. This is a very high-quality conference. But the next 3 weeks is going to be so much for the playoff positions. And one loss, one win here or there is going to be second to first. We could drop as far as fourth if we don't do well next 3 weeks.
And you've got a special promotion coming up. Huskies fans can get in on a great road trip. Tell us about that.
Oh, it's fantastic. We have a charter flight, and bus is taking care of everything else, and the airfare is ridiculously cheap. You'd think that you were going to Calgary with the fare, but hopefully there's very limited, so hopefully fans jump on it very quickly.
And that's for the Winnipeg game coming up next weekend.
Yep, that's right. That's this coming weekend, so hopefully I think we still have about a dozen seats left, so hopefully fans grab that really quick.
Absolutely. So Huskies fans, make sure you check with the Edmonton Huskies for seat availability and take your Husky pride on the road to Winnipeg and on the road to victory for the Huskies. I want to thank my guest, the president of the Edmonton Huskies, Curtis Craig, and let's send things back up to Dave and the coach, John Belmont, for a look at the first half stats. Guys?
Thank you for having me, Kevin.
Thanks. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bud.
Let's send things back upstairs.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Appreciate that. And JB right now is missing in action, but he'll be back shortly. And while we talk about that big flight coming up next week, it is going to be so important for the Edmonton Huskies, and I think I mentioned this in the first quarter, to have a little bit of hometown support. There's about a dozen seats left, I think Craig said. And if you can take advantage of that offer, please do. Get out there and enjoy some Winnipeg hospitality and enjoy watching a football game in that brand new stadium out there in Winnipeg. It should be a great football game. The Winnipeg Rifles, of course, a team not to be taken lightly. They are still well into this playoff picture, and it's a game that the Huskies must win if they hope to have any chance of finishing in first place in the Prairie Football Conference. And with the score being 32-17 here in this football game, I'll tell you what, the Huskies are going to have to continue to play as well as they have, and hopefully come up with a victory in this second half. And let's bring JB in now, and John, we were talking about that game in Winnipeg. It's going to be a big game, but let's talk about this football game and the play particularly of the two quarterbacks. And we thought that it would be a game that would be pivotal on the two quarterbacks.
They're both playing well, and I think one of the biggest things that I've seen is that if you get pressure on either of the quarterbacks, forces them off a little bit. You don't pressure them, they're going to pick you apart.
Well, Brad Lonhart in that first half rushed the ball 11 times and picked up an average of about, or make that 3 times with an average with 11 yards. So he really was not running the ball as well as he normally does. And most of that yardage came off of busted plays, too.
Well, and a big part of it is that when they run that zone read, they seem to be passing more often now. So last year, he would have run the ball a lot more. This year, he hasn't done it as much.
Brant Burzik with 4 carries for 13 yards. Jimmy Airy, 3 carries for 33 yards. I thought he had gotten more than just the 33 yards. I mean, he has really run well in that first half.
He ran very well, but they didn't run him a lot. They were throwing the ball a lot more.
That's true. Lonhart, speaking of passing, Lonhart with 21 attempts and 11 completions, 257 yards, but the longest was for 85 yards and 1 interception and 3 touchdowns.
That's right, and you know the one he's going to be upset with is that interception. But he also had some dropped on him.
Yeah.
And he's been passing the ball very well. I think it's the best I've seen him pass this year. And when you look at the Thunder's quarterback, he's doing the same thing.
Well, Sawyer Butner threw the ball 24 times in that first half, completed 16 of them for 225 yards. The longest there was 35, 1 interception and 2 touchdowns. And I think the important statistic there, JB, is that the longest one for Lonhart was 85. The longest one for Butner was 35. And I think that's probably where they miss Chris Calcutt more than anything else, the long ball threat.
Could be, and also he is the key to a lot of their routes in what the other guys do. So the Huskies aren't going to play exactly the same against the position without him being there.
Well, I mean, they certainly don't appear to be missing Calcutt by any means when you look at the total yards passing. I mean, Levi Paul with 6 receptions for 82 yards. He's had a great first half. Jesse St. John pulling in there in place of Calcutt with 2 catches for 47 yards. Isaac Ford 1 for 24. Avery Pierce had a great first half with 2 catches for 14 yards, almost busted 1 for a touchdown. And Victor Laviolette, besides being one of the top rushers, also a pretty good pass receiver with 2 for 14 yards. So, it just goes on and on and on, the list of receivers that they have.
Well, and you look at it because of that list, and you look at the number of passes spread around. So it's very difficult to defend everybody. And this is the big thing about them. If they need 6 yards, they get 6 yards. They need 9, they get 9.
Talk about the first half of one Connor Bergeson. He's had just a great game, 4 receptions, 81 yards.
And he's just playing tough.
Yeah. 1 touchdown as well for Connor Bergeson. The other touchdowns going to Sam Clayton and Christopher Edmond, and it was nice to see these 2 young men get into the mix of the game.
And I know they want to get them in more and more, and the Huskies really have a young receiving corps.
Christopher Edmond with that 1 touchdown of his for 85 yards, and that was, as I think you said during the first half, that was the route that they've been trying to get him to get free on for the entire season, really.
That's right. They want him on a couple of deep routes. He's got very good speed. He's very athletic. He's still learning how to play at this level.
As far as the kicking game is concerned, Cole Sabourin, of course, is the leading kicker in the Prairie Football Conference, aside from being the leading scorer. And he had a pretty good first half with 4 punts for 145 yards, a 47-yard average. And I'll tell you, he's really taken advantage of the wind in that first quarter.
He did, and a lot of credit to him. He worked with Sean White of the Eskimos at the Eskimo camp this year and worked very, very hard there and he's improved his punting dramatically.
You know, the entire special teams core of the Edmonton Huskies has really improved over this season. And now that you take a kid like Keaton Zajackowski, comes into this contest and he pulls off 3 punt returns for 75 yards and a couple of pretty good kickoff returns as well.
That's right, and he's just learning. He's a rookie out of Paul Kane High School. He's just learning, again, what it takes, the speed of this league. And he's going to get nothing but better. And he's also a very good receiver.
And that's one of the things that a lot of people overlook on this Huskies team is the entire special teams core. They've really changed things around in the last couple of years.
Well, when they hired Reed Knox, who was a defensive back with the Huskies a few years back, and to come in and be the special teams coordinator, and he's just done an admirable job.
All right, we're just waiting to go downfield, and Kevin Donnan will be talking with the head coach of the Regina Thunder, Scott McCauley. But right now, obviously McCauley has a few words to say to his team. They're back out on the field now. Let's go downstairs. Here's Kevin.
Well, I am with head coach Scott McCauley of the Regina Thunder, and you're back in this football game. The last 4 minutes, you took the momentum away.
Yeah, no, like we just got to take each series by itself and just keep on concentrating on trying to move the ball and making plays on the ball in defense and continue to keep on battling.
Are you going to try and stretch the field a little bit more and take some shots downfield?
I guess you're about to see if we are or not. No, we'll probably take some shots downfield and stretch it out a little bit. These guys are really good at stopping the run, and if you can stretch them out, then maybe get a little bit of a running game going as well.
What did you tell your team at the half in terms of getting back in this and getting a big win on the road?
You know, just again taking each play by play and series by series, and just make sure they have each other's back and play the full 30 minutes here in the second half, and good things are going to happen.
Good luck the rest of the way, and thanks for stopping in. That was head coach Scott McCauley of the Regina Thunder, and we'll send things back upstairs to Dave Rozak and the coach John Belmont, who will have the call of the second half. Guys?
Thank you very much, Kevin. Appreciate that. And we know what the coach of the Regina Thunder has planned for the second half. What about Ian McLean? What is he telling his charges down in the dressing room, and what do you expect in the second half?
I think the biggest thing is that he's telling them, do your job, play each play at a time. Exactly what Coach McCauley's telling his players. Right now, the Huskies have a 15-point lead, so can they continue to maintain that momentum? The biggest part is what's going to happen, I think, early in this quarter. And we'll see how things go, because, and we've talked about this many times, in the Prairie Conference, things can explode and change direction so fast that a team that could be up by 2-3 touchdowns can be down by a touchdown in 4 or 5 minutes.
We saw that perfect example of that in last night's football game too, with the visiting Hamilton Hurricanes. They were down early, but came back, took the lead, lost the lead, got the lead back, and then in the end they lost the lead and lost the game by just a mere 3 points. It was just one of those games of everything going back and forth, and we could see more of the same in the second half.
We could very well see that.
It will be interesting, there's no question about it. The Huskies have elected to kick off this second half, and they will be going into the wind, and obviously a choice by the coaching staff to take the wind in that final quarter, and it could be a deciding factor if this game comes down to field goals.
It can be, and not just even that, but the wind, especially going with the wind, can wreak havoc with quarterbacks on the deep ball.
Well, we saw that.
And that's right, and so we'll have to see what happens here. I think what the Huskies are going to try to do, they're just going to play their solid defense. Again, try to blitz a little more, I think. They're going to have to go after the quarterback a little more. You give him any time at all, and he is so good on his timing that what he's going to do, he's going to put that ball on the money probably 70% of the time.
Well, we did see a little bit of a blitz in that last play that led to the touchdown, and you said at that point that hopefully they're going to be doing that a little bit more.
Well, I think they have to, and they just about got to Buettner on that one, and if they'd gotten to him, that wouldn't have been a touchdown. But you got to take your chances and go after it, because Buettner's too good to sit and wait on.
Here's the kickoff down to the 10-yard line, taken by Laviolette. He breaks a couple of tackles and brings it all the way back to about the 38, 39-yard line, and it'll be a run back of close to 25 yards. Good run back.
It's a very good running back. They got it up over the 20, over the 35, and that's what you want to do. The ball was hung high, and the contain was there, but it seemed a little soft in the middle of the Husky coverage.
All right, ball is on the 38-yard line. First down for the Regina Thunder. Laviolette is the setback. 3 receivers to the far side now. Looking into the middle, the pass is complete. In between the linebackers and the defensive secondary, and taken there nicely by number 82, Lee Brown. And that spot seems to be open a lot.
It is. There's a flag on the field. I don't know if this is offside or procedure. We'll have to see. Offside on the Thunder. Coaches won't be happy with that one, because that little, almost like a deep drag route, is very effective for them. And the Huskies were sitting in a zone. They just popped the ball in there, and safety Hodinsky had to come down and make the play.
All right, offside is the call, and that'll move the ball back an additional 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15, ball on the 33-yard line. 5 receivers on the right side, and looking over there and firing deep. It's one of those balls that was way, way up there, and we have another flag.
It's going to be interference on one day. He did get his hands on the receiver, and he was undisciplined on his coverage, and he lost him. But this is what they're going to call, I believe.
That is going to be the call.
Illegal contact.
Digmarani one day is called for that interference. And we're going to move the ball 15 yards downfield, and that just happens to be exactly what they need for a first down.
And
they only mark it.
No, it's 10 yards.
10 yards.
It's a 10-yard penalty, so it's still, but they're 2nd and 5, and it's a heck of a difference. Now you can run your crossing routes and so on. You only need to pick up 5-6 yards.
All right, they get first down over again. It'll be 1st and 5, ball on the 44-yard line now. Again, 3-4 receivers to the right side. This time the handoff over on there to Laviolette. And Laviolette on his own picks up enough for the first down.
Dave, starting about midway through the second quarter, Laviolette has just been running very, very well, and he's getting some seams. He didn't have any of that in the first quarter. But this is a sign of a very good back. What does he do? He just keeps working hard, and now things are starting to pop for him.
And if he is ever able to get past that those linebackers, I'll tell you what, he's going to have some open field as the receivers draw the defensive secondary away.
I believe we have another offside call on the Thunder.
Penalties have definitely hurt Regina in this football game. There's no question about that.
And a lot of that is that they try that type of flash movement, bring the guys up quick, and trying to draw the defense offside. They've drawn themselves offside 2 or 3 times this game. And I think they might want to stay away from that.
All right, this time Buechner is going to send 4 receivers to this side of the field. Now, will we see Laviolette run the ball to this side of the field? Not this time.
He's in route. 5 guys in route.
Back in the pocket. Passes high. It's in behind the defender and the receiver. And well over the outstretched arms of the intended receiver, number 7, Jesse St. John. Couldn't quite get to it.
And again, with the coverage, it looked like a zone coverage, but Wande got turned around out there. And if that ball is put on the money, it's a touchdown. And this is the thing that, again, you've got an inexperienced defensive back out there replacing Minto. And, you've got to be very careful. Now, will they bring heat on this? They're just playing straight coverage.
Pass in the middle, picked off at the midfield stripe. Taken there by number 41, Jason Brown. And Brown runs it back almost 15 yards. And the Huskies take the ball over in Regina territory at about the 41 or 42-yard line. We'll see where they mark it down, but good, great interception, good run by Jason Brown.
Very, very well done, and that is probably the first bad pass I've seen Buechner throw today. The thing is, the Huskies, they went strictly with a 3-man rush. They played that zone, and Brown's been around. He just slid into the zone in the throwing lane and got the pick.
Pretty good job of running, too, by a
well,
linebacker.
let's not overdo it, Dave. Come on now. It's just...
There's a play
Bootleg.
action to Jimmy Airy. The pass is complete, incomplete. No, they say incomplete. And in and out of the arms of number 5, Harrison Cable. I felt like he hauled it back in before he hit the ground, but the official was right there.
Well, and if it hit the ground at all as he comes down with it, they're going to see right, yeah, that's incomplete.
Yeah.
He's got to show total control. Now, one thing here that it looks to me, Brad's been missing a few on these fairly simple passes, and he was a little outside on that.
All right, now this time rolling to the left, and there's a little draw to Jimmy Airy.
No,
Airy gets
Jimmy.
around one player and tries to jump the tackler, but is unsuccessful. Good job getting in there. Was number 28, Wes Apollon.
That was a good job, but Jimmy on that, I think he could have cut up the field. You watch him come back here. He had a seam, a little bit of a seam there. He's not going to get going laterally. In this league, it is so hard to outrun people laterally. You have to get up the field.
So that forces a field goal attempt from the 45-yard line into the wind. Ball is down, it's up, got the length, and it is wide to the left. And taking it out over the goal line and still having the ball is number 25, Tyson Hobrick. Hobrick's got some room on the outside and finally is knocked out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. So a good run back by Hobrick, and the Huskies will make that the Thunder will take the football over at about the 30-yard line or so.
And again, the momentum now has changed into the Thunder's hands. You get a turnover in plus territory, you come away with no points, and they get it up. Normally on those, you just get down around inside the 10-yard line. It comes out to the 20. But now they're up to the 25.
We have an injured Thunder player at the sidelines. Can't give you a number right now.
Probably the return man.
He got hit pretty hard. We'll see if it is Hobrick. I don't believe it is. It looks like 51, but we'll have to make sure of that. No, not 51.
There's a penalty on the Huskies. Somebody said something, and this is going to drive Coach McLean absolutely nuts. No, they're calling it against the Thunder.
A 10-yarder.
I wonder if they called it on the bench. I'll bet they did.
The call is on the bench, guys. On the far side of the field at the tail end of the play, the Regina bench believes there was a late hit, and that's where the 15-yard penalty comes from. The Regina bench was very chatty with the official on the far side of the field. So that explains the penalty and may explain the injury. So Regina a little bit upset about what they feel was a late block on that return. Guys?
Take a look at it on the replay, JB.
Huskies missing tackles.
Now, there was nothing late about that hit. There's no doubt about that. But something after the play, it looked like a couple of players just banged into each other, and one of them went down. And it wasn't the receiver either.
No, and it looked to me like the two guys just got caught up. It wasn't an intentional hit by either player.
All right, so ball is back on about the 18, make that 15-yard line. It'll be 1st and 20. Officials getting the marker straightened out.
It should be 1st and 10. They just move it back. It's dead ball foul, so now they'll move it back.
So it is
1st and 20.
1st and 20. Ball on the 16-yard line. 3 flankers to this side, 2 on the other. And again, back in the pocket, Buechner. Now he's forced out of the pocket, and he'll be wrestled to the turf and will gain only about a yard on the play, but a nice tackle in there by number 92, Justin Pearson from the Salisbury Sabres.
Now again, you got this pretty young front in there with Pearson in there. But Bryce Lee, again, getting pressure. They're using just the 3-man rush, which is surprising me, but it is impressing me how good the coverage had to be on that play.
Bryce Lee, of course, a graduate this year out of Ardrossan. This will be his final year of junior football. Again, back in the pocket, Buechner throwing long. It is knocked down just at the last minute, and good defensive play by Brandon Mellon. He actually was draped over the receiver at that point.
Well, he went up and read the ball and come down over the ball, so it looks like he's draped, but he landed right on the receiver. And on this artificial turf, there's no give. You come down on that and it hurts. And, you know, these fellas, I don't care which player, receiver, defensive backs or whatever, I give them so much credit. They go through a lot of pain during the season. And that play by Mellon was absolutely outstanding. The pass was on the money. The receiver was right there. And what Mellon did, the receiver didn't stand a chance because he came up over and spiked the ball. And then he ended up on the receiver. It was a good football play all around.
Levi Paul coming off under his own steam. And, you know, the visiting team in the PFC comes into Edmonton, in this case the Regina Thunder, with only a 40-man roster. And if injuries begin to pile up as they appear to be doing in this football game, it could be a problem for the Thunder later on in this game.
It could be. I wonder if they'll give up a safety here. I don't think they will, but they might because of field position.
Well, there's still more than 10 minutes to go in this quarter, so they will kick it away. And it's a high end-over-end ball down to about the 50-yard line. It is dropped there by Zachikowski. And does he have some room around the end? He gets away from a couple of tacklers and is stopped at the midfield stripe. But, boy, I tell you, that fumble almost cost him. And we have another late flag, and there is some action going on over at the bench, some extracurricular stuff going on. And
we'll have to see who gets the flag. Well, on that return, Zachikowski, he bobbled the ball, and I thought he showed a lot of coolness for a youngster to pick it up and then get out of there. That's one time he had to run lateral. He couldn't get straight up. He would have been absolutely destroyed. And he tried to run away from it, almost caught the corner. Now, there could be an illegal block here. We'll have to wait and see what the call is. On.
The officials are going to mark it in favor, it looks like, of the Regina Thunder. You are.
Did you get the number on that?
No, I didn't, but it was a UR against the Huskies, and that moves the ball all the way back, or all the way to their 40-yard line, and it will be 1st and 10 at that point for the Huskies. There's the snap, and the football goes over the hands of the new quarterback in there, and that is Tommy Yanchuk. Didn't see that coming.
You know, again, they like to get Tommy in the game, and I don't know what happened on that, where the snap came up at the wrong time or whatever. But now we're in a situation where the Thunder, they're just going to play deep cover on this. They got a 2nd and 20, and deep cover, and we'll see how it shakes down.
All right,
again, they might run Yanchuk on this. Let their
Yanchuk likes to run the ball himself. There's a quick pass to the outside. Finding the seam is number 86, Desiatnik, and Desiatnik moves it ahead. A gain of perhaps 13 yards on the play. They needed 20, so it'll be 3rd down and a whole bunch. And this will force a punt for the Huskies.
Little hitch screen action there, and Yanchuk did a nice job with it, and the receiver did a nice job with it, but that penalty really hurt him. And now here they are having to punt it.
9.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. 32-17 for the Huskies over the Regina Thunder. And that one almost blocked. It's a short one. It'll come down about the 50-yard line. There's all kinds of black shirts around the receiver, and that's going to be a 15-yarder. Nicely taken there by number 8 for Regina, Isaac Ford.
Now here's a case again. Pressure coming on. They didn't block it up well, and that seemed to panic Sabrin a little bit. And the ball, bad punt, got it high, short. The returner did exactly what he should have done. Attack right into the ball. Should be a 15-yard penalty.
Guys, Kevin here down on the sideline. Head coach Ian McLean is really after his players, telling them to be patient and just play. He feels like the chippiness is really picking up, but he wants his players to settle down. Guys?
All right. It'll be first down from the 45-yard line in Huskies territory. Hand off to Laviolette. Laviolette being chased from behind and taken down for a gain of about a yard or so on the play, and in there to help out on the tackle and doing a good job coming around the outside was number 53, Chase Elwood from the H.J. Cody Lakers.
On that play, what they did, the Thunder pulled a guard and swept with them, and they just closed up the gap and then brought backside, was able to make the tackle.
Second
Very
and 10.
good defense.
We have an offside, and it's going to go, well, we'll see what happens, what the call is, but it looks like they are fingering the Huskies. Yep.
They've been trying to draw them all day, and they did it on that one. No,
Nope.
It's against so they drew it up, but called it on themselves again. And
It'd be interesting to see the dynamic of exactly what's going on there. Maybe a slow-mo replay of exactly what happens when one of these offensive linemen goes offside.
It's not the offensive lineman. It's one of the receivers. And they're going up that fake, and then they jump step it a little bit. And they just go a little too far.
All right, they get it off this time, and here's the pass.
Coverage again.
And way over on the far side, touchdown for the Regina Thunder, and carrying it in is number 83, Jaquin Swan.
Now in that case, I don't know what happened to Shane Samuel. He is the corner on that side, and it looked to me like he just flat out sat on the route instead of jumping it and going with the route.
That's exactly what happened.
And this is just going to drive the Husky coaches wild, because all the momentum is in the Thunder's hands now.
Swan just blew by the coverage. As you say, it looked like the defender just sat on it and was waiting for a quick curl or whatever.
That's right. And now what's happening is the Huskies just went offside on this, I believe. So it'll be added on the kickoff. The Huskies at this point, with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, are self-destructing. And it's what Coach McLean was talking about, what Kevin talked about. He wants them to settle down, focus on their job, and execute. Right now, they're just playing with emotion, and they're not thinking. And that's when you make those mistakes.
And this is why coaches do not like to emphasize one game over another. They just want to keep it on an even keel. But sometimes, if you're a player, it's hard to hold back on that emotion.
Well, and again, in a game like this, you know it's for first place, and you get out to a huge lead to start with, and then slowly the wheels start coming off. And to get that back, get the focus back, and to do your job, it's going to take some effort. And it doesn't matter whether it be the quarterback or a defensive back, a running back, a lineman, whatever. They all have to do it.
We've got 8:19 to go in the third quarter. The score is 32-24 in favor of the Edmonton Huskies. There's a short kick, bounces at the 20-yard line, goes over the hands of Zachikowski, and it goes out of bounds. And that means they're going to have to kick it over again.
They'll take it to the 40-yard line, I suspect, but I thought he might have touched that ball.
It looked like it went over his hands. Whether or not he touched it or not, it's going to be they're going to discuss this. There's no question about that. But let's look at it on the replay. No, it didn't touch him.
No, it doesn't. It bounces. It takes a funny hop there. And, you know, Zachikowski actually played that smart, because let it go out. He knows that you're going to get the call. The Huskies get the ball at the 40-yard line, or they have them re-kick it. I think they'll take it at the 40.
There was also another flag thrown at about the 30-yard line as well, so aside from the one down at the goal line.
Well, it could be both officials saw the same thing.
And guys, Kevin down here on the Husky sideline, and there's a meeting at midfield, but there's also a meeting down here at the Husky bench, and it is the defense getting together. And the one thing that Brett Vanderkorp was the first guy approaching the defense, telling them to stick with it, and that's what the meeting is about now, is just what Coach Belmont talked about. Just play do your job, stay focused, and stay disciplined, and that's what the meeting was about on the sideline here just a moment ago. But definitely the Husky coaches are pleading patience and stick with it, guys.
And right now we are waiting for a decision from the officials on exactly what is going to happen on that kickoff. As we mentioned, it bounced over the hands of the receiver down there, Zay Chakowski, and out of bounds. That indicates that they can take it on the 40 or have them kick it over again.
But there was another penalty on the play, like you said, and the official just signaled that it was holding on the Huskies. So this might end up being a re-kick.
The officials are still trying to figure this one out.
Well, that might be on page 2,000 of the rule book. They might, you don't see this too often where you have that one penalty and the other one on top of it. So we'll see now.
So it looks like. And they will take the football on the 35-yard line.
Well, that ends up being just a 5-yard loss for the Huskies on that, and that's fortunate for them. I think it's good they're not re-kicking it.
We should apologize to the officials. Microphone is not quite up to where we need it to be as far as letting you know what's going on down in the field. And they're still discussing it.
I think they're discussing ball placement because it might be on the 30-yard line.
And you're right.
Oh, no, wait a minute. To the 25? So that means that the hold took place on the 35.
So from point of foul.
Yeah, but the point is then there's no benefit to the Huskies whatsoever as far as the ball going out of bounds. The Thunder are not penalized at all. There's only one penalty on the play.
Well, if anything, guys, the officials are getting a lot of help down here.
I'm
both
sure
sidelines,
they are.
Yeah, a lot of guidance there, Coach, from both sidelines. So looks like we're ready to go.
All right, finally, ball on the 25-yard line. Here we go, 8:19 to go in the third quarter. Huskies have the football. There's the handoff, left side. I believe that was Berzik that took it. And Berzik plows ahead for a gain of close to 5, perhaps 6 yards. And we have another injured Regina player on the turf down there, and it looks to be number 40, David Williamson.
The Will linebacker now, earlier, Williams, 42, went out with an injury. And, they're starting to get dinged a little bit in here. But this, again, that run was a good, solid run for first down play.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think that, you keep pounding on these guys, keep working. And I think what they'll do now, you probably see a play action pass, something fairly quick. The Huskies need to get some momentum back.
All right, take a look at that run once again by Berzik, and that's just about the point where the injury occurred. David Williamson down on the field, and they will miss him if he is unable to come back. One of the top tacklers on the team. In fact, I think number 2 on the team in tackling with 24 tackles. He has 1 interception to his credit as well. Looks like they might be looking at his left shoulder again.
Well, you're getting these piles and people come down on the shoulder, and that puts a tremendous strain on the AC joint, on the collarbone, and even on the sternoclavicular joint. So you could have you could have a shoulder separation, a big one, or a very slight one. You could have a fractured collarbone. You could have a sternoclavicular separation. Any of those, you're not playing anymore. And, it's very, very difficult. And we're seeing more of those for whatever reason this year. And you're seeing them at a lot of levels.
I don't know whether to call you Coach Belmont or Dr. Belmont. Wow.
Yeah, what was that word you used?
I was just going to say, Dave, what is that thing called and where is it again?
You know where your sternum is, Kevin?
I think, not these days.
Just see it a few years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while for sure.
Right,
it's in there somewhere.
Right where the collarbone joins.
Oh, there you go. And that must be what Brett Vanderkorp is dealing with right now, because that shoulder right now, JB, is completely immobilized, and I mean he's still in an awful lot of pain. But Vander Korpit's looking okay, and so does this player for the Thunder. But definitely, it's been a physical game, guys, down here. I mean, the training staff has been very, very busy.
So
go ahead, Dave.
Williamson is being helped off the field, and we'll see whether he'll be able to come back into this football game. You know, I'm looking over on the other side at Big Blue, the stands over there, and a lot of Regina fans in for this one, almost like an Eskimo game.
It is, and of course, junior football fans are very, very good at following their team, and as I suspect, a number will fly down to Winnipeg with the Huskies this next weekend.
All right, there's the snap. Play action, second man through is Jimmy Airy. Airy does a great job of avoiding a tackle, and talk about athleticism, just hopping over that tackler and being run out of bounds. Tackle in there by Cordell Kadash, who we're happy to say is back in the football game.
That is good to see, but Jimmy on that did a very nice job. Tackler went low, he went right over top of him. And if he hadn't have, it would have been third down.
So it'll be 1st and 10. Ball is on the 37-yard line. There's the, again, second man through is Berzik, and Berzik has some room on the outside. He is knocked out of bounds just over the center field stripe, and again, that same play, just opposite numbers.
Opposite numbers, and what they did, again, Berzik popped that a little more inside, and what they're doing is that's where these linebackers are. The Will linebacker that just went out, that's what they're attacking. And they've had success, 2 straight plays.
Out of shotgun. And this time it's the first man through, or make that second, Jimmy Airy. But they go to the well once too often on that one.
Well, it looked like a little bit. It also looked like the backs weren't comfortable with the play. Mm-hmm. But there's a case where you had both Jimmy Airy and Berzik on the field at the same time. That's the first time we've seen that.
Jacob Backenfelder coming out now to the bench. 3 receivers to this side. There's a mix-up in the backfield, and Lonhart just takes off with it himself and almost makes the first down. He's going to be short by about maybe a couple of yards, but again, almost a mix-up as Lonhart appeared to bump into Connor Mickle.
A little bit, but that was the zone read.
Yeah.
And they just come off on that fly action, and their timing wasn't quite there on it. Here they're coming with their big boys. They're going for the first down.
And
they're
it is.
Attack it. 1 yard.
3rd and 1. Ball on the 52-yard line. 5:59 to go.
Now, the last time they did this, he went right over the right side of the line, got a good push. Will they get it again?
Decides to take off to the outside instead. And you just never know with Brad Lonhart what kind of play he's going to pull off. He picks up a good 5, maybe 6 yards on that one.
And not only that, I think that was called because everything's sealed from the outside. So that's just a little package that Rick Walters has put in, and very well executed.
It wouldn't have taken much for Lonhart to get just a little bit further outside and some running room out there too.
He needs a little more speed than that.
All right, play action, looking left, now looking right, looking into the end zone, and all kinds of, again, hand fighting going on, but well over the receiver's head, and no question about that. It wasn't going to be complete
I believe that was supposed to be a hitch screen on the other side, and something happened, and he came out this side and threw it. But again, Edmonds didn't fight for the ball on that. If he goes and fights, a guy had a hold of his shoulder pad, and you watch it here. They're going to run this here. No, we're going to the next play. But he's got to learn to fight through these things and go for the ball hard.
4 receivers far side. Back in the pocket. Into the middle. Pass is incomplete. Knocked down at the last minute on a nice defensive play by Tyson Hobrick. Intended out there for Sam Clayton.
Now that was the same play that safety got hurt on. And that crossing route, he did an excellent job on this play and closed from the opposite side. Very well executed defense.
You know, there's a lot of trash talking going on down there. You can see it almost after every play.
Well, it's a very physical game, and both teams have some guys that are a little bit loose cannons, I suspect, and they're probably pretty good players on both teams.
Another 45-yard field goal attempt. Got the length. And this time it is right wide to the right for the second consecutive attempt. And out of the end zone and stopped at about the 5-yard line was Tyson Holbrook.
Now that's two that he has kicked wide to the right off exactly the same spot. And I guess Cole didn't quite adjust to what he had to do on that. There's no wind per se on the field anymore, so shouldn't be a problem.
So they'll move the football out to the 20-yard line. And with 4:38 to go in the third quarter, it'll be first down for the Regina Thunder. Sawyer Buechner has gone the whole game for the Thunder at quarterback. And just a quick drop and the pass out on the flats complete to number 9. Once again, Greg Lamb. And I mean, that's such an easy play. If he's going to throw straight from the pocket off the shotgun.
Well, what they're doing with that is the Huskies are playing a soft cover 3 zone on that. Wande is the field corner is dropped way off. They bring the other receivers inside and then just throw quick to him. Very well executed play.
Rolling out and knocked down. Good pass, good job of defending by the Husky defensive back Brandon Mellon.
Again, that's twice in the game. Mellon and 82 are having themselves quite a ball game, but he covered that well, and of course perfect timing going up in the air and right on the sideline.
You like to see that, a lot of good conversation out there on the field.
And Brandon has been known to have conversation. Nobody can understand it, but he's been known to talk.
Again, the quick drop, the pass into the middle. It is complete at the 50 and up to the center field stripe. Enough for the first down, and taking it out there was, I believe, number 8 once again for the Regina Thunder. Make that number 9, Greg Lamb.
And what they're doing, they're mixing it up, bring that short crosser in and clearing things out. Now the Huskies, again, they're just going with this 3-man rush, and they might have to start bringing something.
Gain of 15 on the play, first down, ball on the midfield stripes, 3:12 to go. In this third quarter, handoff to Laviolette. Laviolette trying to find the corner, doesn't, and will be stopped after a gain of a couple.
Very well played by the defensive end and by the linebackers. They're filling very quickly on these. Here we go on the outside. See the end, and we just get leverage from the linebackers. Very good job.
Good job by Zach White of the White Court Cats. As Laviolette cut to the inside, but was hauled down. Again on
There's
that
the
quick
pressure.
drop, and another busted coverage as the Regina Thunder continue to move the football down the field. Isaac Ford doing a good job, and I think they're putting Ford, they look to be putting Ford continuously on the linebacker Tylen Smith, a rookie out of Olds. And
that's Quade Smith. He's actually playing the halfback. And what they did is just a little double move on him. And he's a young kid, and he's made some mistakes. So
big for a defensive back.
Oh, he is. He's built like a linebacker, and he hits you hard. But he made a mistake on that coverage, and it cost him. And this is one thing. You're talking about a Thunder team that you don't want to make mistakes in your coverage. The Huskies actually blitzed on that play, and man coverage, he should have had him all the way down the field, and he didn't.
All right, ball on the 20-yard line. It's 2nd and 7. Again off that shotgun, and again looking into the end zone, and it is over the head of the intended receiver. We're going to have another penalty. And chances are it'll be interference.
I'd be interested to see the number on this because it did not look to me. There you go. Pass overthrown, and it didn't look like interference to me.
Well,
play.
even if it was, it was well out of the receiver's hands anyway.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have made the catch regardless.
But here we go again now. All of a sudden, they're going to be into the they get this field goal. They're into within a touchdown.
Ball is going to be kicked from about the 27-yard line with a bit of a breeze behind the kicker. There it is, lots of length, and it is good. Eric Maximiuk putting it through the uprights. And with 1:12 to go in the third quarter, this all of a sudden becomes a very tight football game, 32-7 in favor of the Huskies.
And here we go. It's the momentum is all in the Thunder's hands now. So the Huskies offense has got to drive. And they've got lots of time to do things, control the ball, just execute the plays. But the Thunder defense is playing very, very well.
Brad Lonhart is the veteran quarterback. He's the leader on this football team. And it's time for him to come forward. There's the handoff. We'll make that the play action. There's the pass complete along about the 40-yard line. And taken there by Harrison Cable. And Cable will get a gain of close to 6, maybe 7 yards on the play.
We have a flag down. I don't know if it's procedure or what, but where it's thrown, it looks like it could be a procedure call.
Now they're calling the
they're
captain.
calling the Husky captain over.
All right, we'll see what the call is from the referee, Kyle Miller.
Got to be it. It's automatic first down.
Illegal substitution is the call. So it'll be first and 10. Huskies still in their own territory at their own 45 with 48 seconds to go in the third quarter.
There the Thunder made a mistake. They must have brought somebody in late. That cost them.
4 flankers to the far side, and rolling that way is Lonhart. Lonhart being pressured, gets the ball away at the midfield stripe, and it is complete. Taken out there by number 6, Tanner Buchanan. And we haven't called his name at all in this football game, but the Paul Kane graduate out there now makes a good catch for a gain of about 8 yards.
And very good focus by Buchanan on that play. Lonhart, the way he came in, he was having some troubles. They contained him on the bootleg very well. It wasn't blocked the way they would have liked to have got it blocked. And so he had to end up letting the ball go where he didn't want to.
Over center this time, there's the sweep taken there by none other than Connor Mickle once again. And Mickle, coming from the outside, takes the ball around and gets enough for the first down. They're still wrestling for it down there.
Mickle fumbled the ball, but I think he was down when he fumbled it. But it just showed the battle. Both teams in there hot, getting after the ball.
And that will be the end of the third quarter of play, with the Edmonton Huskies leading the Regina Thunder by a score of 32-27. Oh, they're going to call for one more play. So the gain is 6. And again, everybody looking to the sidelines, not sure exactly what's going on.
They're going to get a delay of game here if they don't get going.
They get the ball away quickly enough, but this is going to be a fumble as Lonhart was hit just as he was bringing his hand back, or his arm back, and the ball comes loose. We have another flag. It's going to be over on the far side of the field, and it looks like it's going to go against the Huskies. And so a moment of indecision, and that costs you big time.
Well, it was, and it looked to me like they didn't know what play they wanted to call, and when the clock is going, you got to get it in there or call a timeout. You have to do something. They didn't do it. So this is something now, the momentum, as we said, right now it's all in the Thunder's hands. The Huskies now, I don't know if they called a team timeout or whatever. No, it's between quarters, so they got 2 minutes. But they got to get their heads together. Their defense played pretty well in that last series, and now they got to get things going. So.
And there was also a procedure call against the Huskies. So the Regina Thunder are going to be taking this football over in good field position. And while we'll go down to Kevin in just a minute, but we want to tell you about the very important sponsors of the Edmonton Huskies, Hertz Equipment Rental, the Edmonton Eskimos, Glenn Sather Sports Medicine Clinic, the Eskimo Excavators Limited, and of course FC Edmonton. all important sponsors that keep this team going, and without their help, certainly the Huskies would not be as successful as they have been. Let's go downstairs. Here's Kevin.
Well, thanks so much, Dave. Of course, the Huskies travel to Winnipeg next weekend, and there is seat availability on the Huskies charter coming up. Make sure you check with the Huskies this week for seat availability. It's a very inexpensive flight from what we understand, so make sure you get on Husky Air, as it were, and send some Husky pride to Winnipeg. You know, I was just talking with Gaetano Minto, number 24 of the Huskies, who was ruled out of this game, and he's got what they used to call in the old days a stiff arm or a compartment syndrome after the last game against the Wildcats. He was banged up. He's out of the lineup today, but he says they're not leaving. They're not going to be taxiing down the runway without Gaetano Minto. So, but also another Husky injury update. Brett Vanderkorp at Husky sideline very concerned about his availability for Winnipeg. And right now, this Husky sideline is very quiet, very intense, guys, as we begin a very exciting fourth quarter. Back up to you.
All right, so Dr. Belmont, a compartment injury?
Yeah, tell us, Dr. Belmont, what is that?
Sounds like a psychological problem to me.
Something in the head?
I'll tell you what, with Gaetano, you never know. But he's such a tough kid that it takes a lot to get him out of a ball game. So we'll have to wait and see. And
it's killing him to be out of this one too, JB. Just had a chat with him, and you can just see it in his eyes. He really wants to be out there, especially as we start this fourth quarter, guys.
We do, with the score 32-27 in favor of the Edmonton Huskies over the Regina Thunder. The Thunder 1st and 10. Ball into the middle, and the pass complete. Taken down there, or rather complete to number 82, Lee Brown, but we're going to have a horse collar tackle, and it's going to go against the Huskies once again.
And again, it's these penalties that are they could kill a team. All of a sudden, that's a 15-yard penalty, and it takes them down pretty low. Now, he was lower on the jersey, but these guys are going to call it. And, you know, you got to drive, you got to tackle, you got to get into the guy. And we're not doing that. We're reaching. Look at the Huskies right now. They're reaching for people. And, you know, whether you like that call or not, they're going to call it.
Coach McLean is livid down there, and he's still yelling at the linesman that made that call. So it'll be first down on the 40-yard line. Big opportunity here for the Regina Thunder. There's the pass out into the flats. It is complete to Levi Paul, and we're going to have a late hit call against the Huskies. And, well, you got to take a look at this one, but I don't see where the late hit was.
I don't either.
However,
I wonder, was there a hold in there, because that did not look like a late hit to me.
Well,
yeah, it's a holding call on the Thunder.
So
Two penalties?
Well, I know that.
We got the replay. Let's have a look at this.
Take a look at this. Good reception. There's the hit, and I don't see the holding, and I don't see the late hit, but nevertheless, it's been called, and the officials trying to figure this one out. Offsetting penalties.
They called that on number 7 out of bounds on the hit on Shane Samuels, the corner.
All right, so it's going to be 1st and 10, ball on the 36-yard line now. Buechner hands it off to Laviolette. Laviolette cuts into the middle, and he is stopped after a gain of about 5 yards on the play. And in there to make the stop was Justin Hodinsky.
Now, he's almost got a first down on that play. He's pretty close. He's got a first down. And that was a good burst. And, you know, he found a little bit of a seam, and you saw that explosion that he has in him. And he got upfield very quickly.
Cut across field, and so they'll mark it at about the 26-yard line. 1st and 10. Thunder on the move. Play action. The pass short. Little dump pass out there on the right-hand side. And it was intended for Lee Brown, but well short of him.
Good pressure by the Huskies inside on that, and it forced the quarterback to get up a little earlier, and he thought and dumped the ball. didn't execute well for him. When he plants his feet, yeah, he can let that ball go as well as anybody. And that's what he's going to try to do here.
Laviolette in motion to the right. 4 receivers on this side. And the ball into the end zone. It's high, it's up there, it's anybody's ball. And it was almost intercepted. There could easily have been an offensive interference call. And I'll tell you what, down there, Dagbarani Wandi just begging for that call, but he wasn't going to get it under any circumstances.
No, and
take a look at this.
He is right to be calling for that. The guy was grabbing him, and he should be calling for it. And I know the coaches are going to be upset with it because that turns the ball deeper. They know now they got a fairly simple field goal.
From about the 33-yard line, the ball is up, and it is good. And with 13:16 to go in the football game, the game all of a sudden becomes nothing more than a 2-point game, 32-30.
You know, it's interesting, isn't it, Dave? Early in the second quarter and halfway through the second quarter, the Huskies had a 22-point lead. And now we're down to a 2-point lead. Momentum has totally changed. And this is one of the toughest things in sport. When things are going against you, what do you do to get your movement back, get your momentum back? And it's execution. It's what the coaches talked about at halftime. Focus on your job. Just do your job.
All right, we have 2 receivers over on this side and 3 on the far side. There's the play action, and into the middle. The pass is complete at the 50 to the midfield stripe and into Thunder territory is Harrison Cable. And a great job after catching by Harrison Cable to move that ball ahead about 20 yards or so.
Well executed play all around. Got them in his zone and hit right in the seam.
All right, quickly. The ball is out. There's the pass. It is complete on this side. Taken there by Tanner Buchanan, but we have a flag in the backfield. It is going to be a holding call against the Huskies.
The Huskies, as we said before, they've been self-destructing on this, and see who this is on.
I believe he said 56, Jack Hanna.
You know, this is what makes it tough.
So that brings up a first and about 20. Ball now in Huskies territory at the 53-yard line.
The Thunder have everybody up.
Tight ends out there.
Now they're dropping out.
Here is the pass. It is down there, complete
Touchdown.
at the 20. Touchdown! Zach Desayatnik getting in behind the coverage and hauling that ball down. And you want to talk about concentration. He had that guy all over him.
Very good concentration. If you see here, I don't know if it'll show it, but the corner looks back for a second. He had good coverage. He looks back there. There's the separation. He's able to get in for the touchdown. The ball had to be perfectly thrown for that to happen. It was. Excellent pass by Lonhart and excellent blocking.
And you could hear the sigh of relief from the stands on this side among the Husky fans. 39-30 now in favor of the Edmonton Huskies with 12:09 to go. And is that the lift that they need? Is that the momentum changer again?
It was a big play, and yes, I would say it can be. Now, does this lift the cover unit? Does this lift the defense? Mm-hmm. And I would say with most teams, absolutely. But when I look at the quarterback of the Thunder and what he's capable of doing, who knows?
Exactly.
But this is the thing, it should. This is something that should lift the Huskies up.
They're going to be kicking this one off from the 45-yard line. There is that breeze is picking up again. I'm looking at the markers on the goalpost, and they're almost straight out. So
this
Cole
is the time
Savarin
to do it if you're a Husky fan. If you're a Thunder fan, you're not real happy about it.
Cole Savarin will have the wind at his back. And a couple of receivers standing at about their own 5-yard line. Laviolette on this side. and Isaac Ford on the far side. And we're ready to get it underway. There's a good end-over-end kick. It'll come down to the goal line and into the end zone. Laviolette misjudged that one, and he'll take it out over the goal line up to the 5 and tackled at about the 7 or 8 yard line. Laviolette actually moved up on that football, and it sailed over his head.
The wind.
Yep.
And it's easy to misread a ball like that, and it's one thing is a break for the Huskies in 2 ways. One, the point, it would have been okay to have it, but you've got them inside the 10-yard line here for the defense. This makes it really hard on the Thunder now. They've got to drive over 102 yards.
And we know that their punting game has not been sterling in this football game, and punting into the wind, if they have to punt, could be an issue for them. Buechner at quarterback, 4 receivers on the far side. He's looking over there. He's got a man open on the far side, and it was Levi Paul, but he is able to haul that one down, and again, wide open.
And again, you're talking, that's Wande over there, and he's having trouble with his coverages, and you know, it's just one of those things, but I don't think that is that 26? Yeah, that's Wande. And that's where they hit.
Wande is on this side of the field now, and back in the pocket again, looking into the middle, and it is going to be almost picked off by the Huskies, and doing a great job going up for that football was Justin Hodinsky. Almost hauled it down.
We've talked about this all year, about both he and you know, the young players that have come in. He's only a second-year player playing that safety, and he plays it extremely well. He times things well. He reads things well. For a young man, he's going to just have a heck of a Prairie Conference career.
Again, flankers on this side, looking into the corner. There's the pass. It is complete to Greg Lamb, and Lamb is stopped after a short gain of, well, we'll see where they mark it. It looks to be about maybe 5 yards. It is going to be 6, so it'll be 3rd and about 4, and the Huskies defense is held.
They've held, and they closed very well on that. Vince Schiffner really closed quickly from his Sam linebacker position, and also Jason Brown came from the inside out. They defended that play extremely well, and that's a play that the Thunder have had a lot of success with today.
Maximiuk to kick this one away. He fumbles the football and now gets it away. Gets a good kick too. Back to about the 43-yard line. It'll be taken there by Zaychikowski, and Zaychikowski is stopped after a run back of about maybe 3 or 4 yards on the play. But I'll tell you what, that play was awfully close. I think if they had been coming on him, they probably would have been able to pick up that
football. The guy who was jamming in there was Shane O'Samuel, who leads the league in punt blocks. And, you know, you're exactly right. If he'd had another step, he could have driven the blocker right back into him.
So 10-16 to go in the football game. 39-30 in favor of the Edmonton Huskies over the Regina Thunder. The ball on the Huskies' 48-yard line. 4 receivers to the far side, 2 to this side. Looking downfield, man wide open is Jimmy Airy, and Airy catches the football and then is hit hard. But I'll tell you what, the man who hit him got the worst of that one. And Ian McLean is just livid out there. He's
wanting a helmet-to-helmet hit, and the best thing for him to do, just settle down. They got the big first down, and Jimmy Airy did a great job on that. He concentrated on it well and then broke up into the inside. Just an outstanding job by Jimmy.
Let's see if we can get a replay on that helmet-to-helmet hit.
We'll see if it is. It might not have been helmet-to-helmet.
Oh, yeah.
I would not have called that helmet-to-helmet. He hit him with his shoulder and then went down. He might have a bad shoulder, this kid. That might be what's hurt.
I can tell you guys that Coach Ian McLean is absolutely livid with the side judge here, or with the line judge, correct me. He believes that the Regina Thunder defender did, in fact, lead with his head, and he was calling for a penalty on Jimmy Airy. And, of course, when Airy popped up, that's when the when the bench just exploded, and it really gave Airy popping up really gave the Husky bench a lift. But Ian McLean certainly wanted the penalty, guys.
That, I believe, is number 26, Cordell Kadash. Kevin?
You are correct. That is number 26, you bet.
And that is the second time that he has injured that shoulder in this football game. And there you go. There you see the hit. And you're right, JB. It was more shoulder than head.
More shoulder. Now, I might have got it in there. But if I'm Coach McLean, I'm calling for that too. If it's close, I'm calling for it because he was hit high. Now, that being said, what Kevin said down below is so important. Jimmy popped up, and everybody on the Husky bench just, yes, this is Husky football. You can't hurt us, and we're going to control this game. It's attitude, and that's where they're getting. Now, this young man, he's got what he might have happened to him, that injury before, might be the same thing. He might have wrenched his neck, because when you look at this on the film, that's not a helmet-to-helmet. But his injury from before might be more severe than what they thought, in that he might have popped a muscle of some kind or even a nerve. Who knows? But I suspect, from watching the hit here and looking how he is, I think this is more from the previous one than this one.
Well, it's certainly enhanced, JB, because they have done a little bit of concussion work on him, and they are, checking his vision, and they are checking, of course, the back of the neck. Training staff with the Thunder are talking to him pretty closely here, but they're definitely concerned on the concussion side of things. Definitely, he is going to try and get up, but he is definitely very woozy, guys. So glad to see the Thunder player getting back to a knee, but he will most definitely be going in the concussion protocol, guys.
Last time he was injured, he was a little bit wobbly as well, going to the bench. As I think we mentioned that at the time, and so that I was surprised that he came back out. But there he is, and he's definitely feeling it.
Well, when you look at it here, how he hits him, if we see it again, and goes down. If you've got could be slightly concussed or whatever from before, you get a hard hit. It could be on your shoulder pad. It could be going on your butt on the ground. It could be anything that jars that brings back heavy symptoms. So that's why I say you go back to the play before, because on that play he was whiplashed. He had that thigh pad come right through the side of his neck in the helmet, and you saw that snap of the neck. And these things can be very, very painful. And I was surprised to see him back. And like Kevin says, I don't think we're going to see him back the rest of this game.
He's out on his feet, Coach. He is literally out on his feet.
That doesn't surprise me.
All right. The Huskies have the ball in Regina territory on the 37-yard line. 1st and 10, 39-30 to score with 9:35 to go in the football game. 3 receivers to the far side, looking over there and now looking to this side. Touchdown. A pass. It is complete. Touchdown! Harrison Cable well in behind the coverage. And, we've seen some blown coverage on both sides in this football game, and that was the case there.
And I believe, again, what happened with the Huskies. Let's see it here. It looks like a little double move. No, it just faked inside and just came up the seam. And like you say, blowing coverage. They just crossed the receivers. That's all they did.
As Cable blew by that initial defender, he was pointing to the other defender saying, hey, it's your man. So they were obviously, there was a mix-up between man-on-man and zone somewhere.
Well, it could be just a mix-up with a switch call in man coverage. Whatever it was, the receiver for the defender froze, and it allowed Cable to get through there, and Brad put the ball right where it had to be. But you saw that same thing happen to a young back. Here it is again. And you see it. That's exactly what happened. And another thing that happens with a lot of young corners and defensive halfbacks, even in man, they will look back at the quarterback for a split second. And that's where Harrison blew by him. And he's looking back at the quarterback. He's beat. It's done. And, there's a lot of different things that can happen. But like I say, it happened to Wandy in this game. It happened to Shane Samuel. And this is when you got 2 good quarterbacks that can pass the ball and receivers like both these teams have, these things can happen.
All right, we've got 9:21 to go in the football game. And it's a 46-30 score in favor of the Edmonton Huskies, who will be once again kicking off with a good little breeze in behind Cole Sabourin. And I don't think Laviolette is going to make that same mistake as he made the last kickoff. He's standing way back on the goal line now. Here's the kick. It's another good one. High end over end down to the 5-yard line. Laviolette will take it there. He's up to the 20, cuts to the outside and now into the middle and is stopped after a run back of about 25 yards. And in there to make that stop was O'Shane Samuels, and O'Shane making sure he knew it was him.
You know, he did a good job, but the man who made that play was Quade Smith. He had contain on that outside. The blocker came up on him, and he's such a strong kid. He fought off the block and squeezed it inside.
Yeah.
Laviolette had no other place to go. Came in, and they were able to fill it. Totally well-run coverage unit.
Ball on the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Regina Thunder. 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. There's the handoff to Laviolette. He's going nowhere. Coming in to make that tackle, and he's made a couple of them on Laviolette in this afternoon's game. Number 53, Chase Elwood.
And the guy, again, that made that play happen, if you see it here, you don't quite see it there, was, here it is, it's Bryce Lee. He fills from that. They ran a little move on it, and he takes 2 blockers every time.
All right, 2nd and about 11. Loss of a yard, back in the pocket now. Buechner looks into the middle. It is almost intercepted, and I'm not sure whether his hand was hit as he threw the football, but right into the arms just about of number 41, Jason Brown.
Well, 2 things happen on that, and if you look at 53, he gets in there and drills them. It took a little off, but also you saw why Jason Brown will never be a receiver. He had got hit right dab smack where he should have caught the ball and
on the numbers.
Yeah, I would think.
All right, 3rd and a whole bunch to go, so the Thunder will be kicking this one away. Punt will come from about the 20-yard line. It's a good high end-over-end kick down to about the 50, taken by Zaychikowski. Zaychikowski just bursts up the middle, but not much room there, and he is taken down just over the midfield stripe.
You know, he did a great job on that. He caught that ball and got vertical now. Mm-hmm. He's starting to understand what it takes with the speed of this game. It's fun to watch young guys like that, especially when I've known him since he was a little kid. And to watch him come up and start to play at this level is a lot of fun.
7:58 to go in the fourth quarter. Huskies have the football. 1st down. Ball is in Regina territory. There's again, that crossover, and it looked like Airy got the football.
You know, that
they completely confused me, and I think they're confusing the defensive line, too.
I think they're confusing themselves a little, too. They haven't got that down yet with the 2 running backs in there. But what they're running, and you'll remember this term, they're running the old crossbuck.
There you
and
go.
That goes back to the 50s. And I didn't know Coach Walters was that old, but it's nice to see them trying stuff with 2 backs, because those 2 youngsters in there, they can both play very, very well.
Now they've got Burzik as the setback, and there's the play action and the pass. It is complete, and Connor Mickle pulling that one down, and he is back to maybe a yard gain or so, not much more on the play, but again, Airy comes out, and then Connor Mickle comes in from his slot back position and plays a halfback role.
Well, what they did on that, they brought him in. That's that little fly action.
Yeah.
They'd call it like a little bubble screen. Flip it to him. Harrison Cable was to block the guy out. Why that play didn't execute just right, I put that right on Brad Lonhart. He threw the ball too late. And by now, Mickle is almost out to where the block is. So he couldn't do much with it.
There's a high spiraling kick out at the 10-yard line. We won't call it coffin corner, but awfully darn close. And we have 2 flags on the play and some extracurricular. And it looks like it's going to go against the Huskies. We'll see what happens. But out there jawing it was number 16, Woodley Apollon.
Got to play downfield, too. That might have been as fine a punt as you're going to see in football. That is hard to do when you angle it to the wide side of the field and to put it out. But what you you make the other team do. Now they're chasing it at an angle. If that ball goes out of bounds like it is, that's just a tremendous punt. Now, I'm not going to get into the mathematics of it, but that ball was punted from about the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
And if you put it on a right-handed, right-angle triangle, he's punting the hypotenuse of that triangle. And the guys on that side are running the short side of that. Now, I don't know if Dave will understand that. I know you can. But I'm talking about Dave Foley now. I know you can, Dave. But that allows your men to get down there quickly. And that ball's in the air a long time.
Kevin, help.
I'm listening to Coach McLean talk to his team, I'll tell you. And right now he is calling on, he gave a pretty good tongue lashing to Chavez Campbell for that last penalty here. And Coach McLean has not quite stopped talking in about the last 2 or 3 minutes as the officials sort this one out, but it is moving back into Thunder territory. But Coach McLean is not very happy with the discipline of his team, even in spite of the fact they're up by 16, guys.
Well, they've got it figured out. Holding against Regina. So a couple of penalties.
Well, there's 3. There's 2 rough plays, one on the Huskies, one on the Thunder, and then the holding call. So it goes back to the 5-yard line, first down. It worked out okay for
the Huskies.
But I understand, Kevin, exactly what Coach McLean's talking about. Discipline, discipline, discipline. And that was an undisciplined penalty.
All right, in the end zone, there's a pass, and it could easily have been picked off, but it was incomplete and intended out there for Jaquin Swan. But I'll tell you what, the big guy, Ty Smith in there from Olds, he had a shot at that.
Well, you look at that again. What made this happen was Donovan Bergmeyer and Bryce Lee both beat their men and was putting tremendous pressure on the quarterback. And I think he just threw it at the feet.
Back in the pocket now, standing in the end zone and firing long and well over the head of the intended receiver. And again, the big guy, number 83, Jaquin Swan, just could not catch up to that one. He was being well covered down there. I believe it was O'Shane Samuel.
It was O'Shane Samuel. He's not going to get beat on a double move anymore. He's going to be staying on these people and doing his job.
And he actually had position.
He had very good position. Very good position. That ball, even if it's perfectly thrown, I think might have ended up out of bounds. Tremendous pressure by the Huskies in there. Now, would you give up a safety? You're down by 16.
That's still
if you punt it, they're going to be in very good field position.
That's a 2-score and a field goal difference, and if he kneels, it's going to be more than that. It's going to be 18.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. The reason is you're going to be that 2+ anyway.
Yeah.
And if you give the Huskies field position here, well, what's going to happen? They're almost in field goal range.
Mm-hmm.
They kick another field goal, there you are. So you're better up giving off 2 and kicking off, hope your defense can stop them. Now the Huskies are playing this fourth quarter like they played the first quarter. They've got the momentum back, and they're charging. They're making things happen.
48-30 in favor of the Huskies. Looking to go 6-0 on the season. Still ranked number 1 in junior football in the entire country. And while they have not looked to be number 1 several times during this football game, they have suddenly pulled it all back and showing their, particularly Brad Lonart, showing his veteran leadership out there.
There's that, and I think also a big part of it is that in this conference, and again, Regina's a very good football team, extremely well coached, and you look at it, they're going to make plays, both sides of the ball.
Short kick comes down to the 50-yard line. It is taken there, and just jumping to the ground and holding on to it was Zachikowski.
Now I don't know if he lost his balance or that's great coaching.
I think he went down on his own.
I think he did too, because the ball is dead and you've got very, very good field position. Don't take a chance.
No.
And what he has done there, I think from that position, what Coach Reed Knox teaches his players, if that ball's up in front of you, just catch it and go down. We'll take the ball. We got a good offense. We'll get it done.
Great field position at about the 49-yard line. There's the snap and the play action, and then taking off with it, calling his own number, was Brad Lonhart. Bit of a kind of a draw.
It's kind of like, again, a little bit of that fly read. That was Yanchuk is in there at quarterback now.
It is Yanchuk.
And he ran that, but he got hit. You saw him jerk back there. And I thought, oh, my God, Brad's getting too old for that. But this is a young quarterback. He can do those things.
Tommy Yanchuk in at quarterback. And Yanchuk firing pass complete at the 50. And fumbled just over the center field stripe, and it's going to be Regina football, I believe. Let's wait and see what the call is. But the Thunder are coming on offensively. So the fumble recovery and a tough break for the Huskies.
Well, tough break, but again, you've got to hang on to the football. He caught the ball and he turned up before he had secured the ball real well. So he got popped and it came out. The Thunder, they're going to hit you, and you better be prepared for it.
We've got 4:40 to go. The question is, do they have enough time to make up 18 points? I mean, that's 3 full scores right there.
They can do it. They're very capable of doing it.
Quarterback out there, sick pass incomplete. Throwing into coverage, Levi Paul was being double covered, and Sitch got the ball away, and a good pass too. But
very good coverage by Quade Smith, a deep zone, and he was right in position to make the play. You'll see it here. He just drops in the hole. He goes up, and good coverage over the top. Now Bryce Lee again beat his block and really put pressure on the quarterback, flushed him out. He might have let that ball go a little earlier than he wanted to.
So Brock Sitch in the football game, 6 for 11, passing 55% average going into this football game for 128 yards, but he's thrown for 3 touchdowns. There's the pass. It is complete to Levi Paul. Paul is hit at the center field stripe and lurches ahead for a couple more yards, and will pick up a gain of, we'll call it 5 or so. And 3rd down, so will they go for it? I would suspect they do with 3:52 to go.
I would think they will, yeah. Now, Bryce Lee's injured. I don't know what it is. That previous play where he flushed the quarterback out, it looked like I don't know if he twisted something or whatever, but when he came back, he wasn't walking right. And after this last play, he's down. So they'll have a young nose guard in there. Now, also on this, whatever the play they do, they only have to get 5-6 yards. Mm-hmm. But they're also playing the clock. So there's a combination of factors here. And the Huskies will play their defense accordingly. They'll play it, I believe, good coverage, but they'll give you the 4 or 5 yards. They're not going to give you anything deep.
So Bryce Lee comes out of the football game. And as you say, a new nose guard, and I believe it's going to be, it looks like number 94 out there, Carter Carlson. They continue to go with that 3-4 defense. Little movement on the defensive line, but it's not called, and the pass is incomplete. Just another little swing pass to the outside, and it was intended there for number 34, Ethan Houts. He just couldn't hang on to it, and looked like he may have injured his left leg a little bit too as he hobbles off the field.
Well, he was open.
Yeah.
If you look at this, they just said he's sitting in the hole there at the first down marker. Underthrew it, a little bit of pressure on the quarterback. And the new nose guard, he's a little taller than Bryce, and they cut him. They cut him in there pretty good. And that you can't cut Bryce. He's too short. You try cutting him, he'll run right through you.
All right, so the Huskies take the football over, and again, Tommy Yanchuk is the quarterback. His pass intended for Connor Bergeson. He was just behind him. He couldn't haul it down. And so the Huskies will have a 2nd down and 10, still in their own zone. But, talk about moving Tommy Yanchuk in. I mean, there's still 3:21 to go. You can't count the Regina Thunder out. Just wondering why they would put him in.
Well, first place, they got a lot of faith in Tommy.
Okay.
And he can run real well, and they're going to be putting pressure on. Maybe he can get out pretty good. we have an illegal contact on a receiver here thrown by the line judge. So that's going to be an automatic first down. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And, to put Yanchuk in such an important game as this, I mean, he's going to be their number 1 quarterback next year. There's no question about that.
That's right.
And to give him that added amount of experience, I suppose, is...
Well, it's commendable, but I give so much credit to the Husky coaching staff. When they do the recruiting and they bring an individual in most cases, they believe that young man can play and he makes it at a certain level, then he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And if you looked at Yanchuk during the season, he's played every game. One game, Bragg got dinged a little bit, and they were doing okay with it, so he didn't play the rest of the game. And Tommy played 3/4 of the game and did it very well. So here he is. He's getting time in a game against arguably the number 1 team in the conference along with the Huskies. So that's a real confidence builder. And it's also, I think, a tremendous confidence builder for the entire program, because every player knows if I work hard in practice and I can do the job, I'm going to play.
Bottom line, too, Tommy Yanchuk was the most recruited player in all of Alberta last year, and he chose to go to the Huskies. Almost a mix-up in the backfield there as Brant Bursick picks up the football anyway and runs with it for a gain of perhaps a yard or so on the play, and here we go again.
What the Huskies did on that last play, they went double tight. Morgan Runge, number 30, was in that little altercation.
Mm-hmm.
He was in at one tight end, and Jacob Battenfelder at the other tight end, number 34. And they just ran a running counter, and that's why it looked like it was a mix-up in the backfield. But Regina defended it very, very well.
Bursick, the lone setback, and now Zachikowski in there at slot back. And the wide receiver on this side is Tanner Buchanan. And this is the first chance Keaton Zachikowski has had to play a little offense. He's out there blocking, and the man he was blocking got away from him and almost got to Tommy Yanchuk. There was, two flags on the play, probably holding.
It will be holding, I suspect, and now the Regina coaches, if I'm them, I'm going to decline the penalty because they want the ball back. If they take the penalty, there's going to be more time on the clock with a possibility, although slight possibility, of getting a first down. But they need the ball. They've got 2:51 left in the game, and they've got 3 scores.
We're waiting for the Thunder to decide what they want to do with this.
Decline it. They're going to decline it, I'm positive.
And they do decline it. Two holding penalties going against the Huskies. And we have another injured lineman for the Regina Thunder out there.
It looks to me like in that play, both tackles were called for holding. And both fairly young players. And, that happens sometimes when you get a play like that where it's running away and you keep trying to keep on your block. And those guys, their feet stop moving and they grab the defender and you get a jersey pull. Officials see it, they'll call it every time.
Eric Nikiforuk is the injured Thunder player. Fifth-year man out of Regina, 6'1", 280 pounds. And he is still being looked at.
I believe what the Huskies will do here is they're going to try. They're leaving their offense on the field, are they? Is Sabrin out there?
I saw Sabrin earlier.
Yeah, because what they'll do is they're going to try to pin him. I believe they'll just try to get the ball out of bounds inside the 10-yard line and, again, force them to drive over 100 yards. Right now, the clock, the Huskies' best friend.
So it's going to be 3rd and 8, ball on the 36-yard line. And Sabrin is going to try a 44-yard field goal.
Well, the last 2 he missed were from the right hash. This is the left hash, so it should go down the middle.
Little bit of a breeze in behind him. So a 44-yard field goal attempt. There's the snap. It's a bad one. They couldn't handle it. And now the pass, it is incomplete. And so the Huskies will turn the ball over. Nice try by Connor Mickle, and quick thinking as well from Mickle as he picked up that ball and threw it downfield.
But I don't know if you saw it. If we see it on the replay, Cole Sabrin puts an unbelievable block on one of the defenders. And watch this. Watch him come up and block this guy. He knocks him flat down on. And that's a kicker. That's nice to have kickers. I haven't seen that since a guy like Dave Cutler would do that. But most kickers don't. They'll run away from that.
Well, they're all a little strange anyway from what I've been told.
Cole's a little different. He's one of the more solid individuals you'll find as a kicker.
There's the snap. It goes over the head of Sitch, and he is forced to go down on his knee all the way back at the 10-yard line. And we've seen that go both ways in this football game.
We have. Jason Brown read it immediately, and you saw how quick he was in there on it. But these things tend to happen. They might have a new center in. I don't know, but those things can happen. You don't like it when it happened with the Huskies. It was fairly early in the game. That was Yanchuk was in there on that. I just don't think he was ready for it.
Sitch, the quarterback. Motion goes to the right. Pass, cross field, over the intended receiver, almost into the hands of the big guy out there, the guy that
Smith again. And you know, the interesting thing about that, if he keeps doing that, they'll move him to linebacker. Now, you know what I said about Jason Brown before with his hand. Now, he's going to get all over me for saying that because he did get that one pick that he ran back early in the game. But did you notice where that hit him?
Yeah.
Right in the belly. And you'll protect.
Well, it was cushioned.
It was cushioned, yeah.
I thought it'd be quiet. He's bigger and younger than me.
Yeah, and he can move, too. He's a wonderful young football player. And ever since he came out of Parkland, he's been the heart of this ball club in the defense.
Eric Maximiuk will kick this one away from the goal line. Gets a good one down to about the 48-yard line, taken there by Zachkowski, and he is run out of bounds after a run back of close to maybe 7 yards or so.
And a good hard 7 yards. Very good height on that punt and good coverage by their contained individual. He squeezed inside a little bit, and Zachkowski was able to get out, but only for about 6-7 yards.
There is another injured Regina player at the bench on the sidelines, and the training staff was very quick to get to him. Let's see if we can discern exactly what happened on that play, but that player is not moving. I guess we're not going to be able to see that, but it's first down. Tommy Yanchuk in at quarterback for the Huskies, and he hands it off right side. Short gain, if any, on that play.
Now the Huskies, I think, just got a penalty, and it's one thing to block people downfield, but when the whistle's gone, you better stop, and 86, I think, is going to get a penalty. No face mask on them, so they must have grabbed his face mask when he was blocking, because that's where they threw the flag.
Jimmy Airy came off the field rather quickly, and I'm looking at him down on the sidelines now, and he's bent over a little bit. Brant Burzik, is out there now. Airy was injured a little bit earlier in the football game as well, but he looks to be okay. So
Jimmy has probably had his healthiest season as a Husky this year. He's strong, he's fast, keeps himself in good shape. He had flu and missed that one game, but that was about it.
Here's Yanchuk into the end zone and knocked down just at the last minute. And in there to make that play was number 2, Parker Scott, seeing his first action in this football game. And he did a great job of coverage and just knocked that ball out of the air just before it reached the receiver.
Now there again, we've seen Tommy Yanchuk's arm before. He's got a better arm than that. I think he was aiming it. He thought he had him wide open, and he's got to let that ball go.
All right, once again, same play. Touchdown!
And there will be pass interference, but it'll be thrown. Now again, look at the difference in that ball. He had a little more zip on that ball. Let it out and let him run under it.
Sam Clayton with his second touchdown of the football game. The Bev Facey Falcon wide receiver from Sherwood Park, doing a great job getting in behind the defender and hauling it down.
You know, you've got to be happy for Tommy Yanchuk and for these young guys like Clayton coming in and playing and executing.
54-30 for the Huskies. And they will maintain their stranglehold on first place in the Prairie Football Conference, moving their record to 6-0. The Thunder will drop to 4-2, and can't tell you exactly what's going on in Saskatoon, but the Hilltops were tied for second at 4-1 heading into this weekend, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But 5-2 now record for the, or 4-2 record now for the Thunder.
That's right, and the Thunder have been beat up in this game, and the Huskies are going to have some guys dinged pretty good too.
Yeah.
That this has been an extremely hard-hitting football game, but again, it's what we expect this time of year in this conference. And when the Huskies play the Hilltops, it's going to be the same thing. It's just tough, hard-nosed football, and you got to be prepared to take it and give it.
But one thing the Huskies can't do, and I know Ian McLean will tell them this, you can't look past the Winnipeg Rifles next week to the Saskatoon Hilltops. And I know this team would just love to beat the Hilltops, probably more than anything else. And there's a good kickoff down to the 8-yard line, and a tackle from up top. No penalty on that call, but a nice tackle by O'Shane Samuels on Isaac Ford.
What he did on that, when he came out and showed on the replay, he'll grab with both hands, and he grabs, and that's not a horse collar. He's down low enough like it's on the arms. Watch it as he comes through, right there. See him wrap around and then pull him down? And that's the speed of O'Shane Samuels. He can just fly.
A good close-up of it from our field-level camera. Nice job by Dave.
Watch him come across right
boom.
There. Boom. Wrapped around.
All right, so it'll be first down for the Regina Thunder. Brock Sitch still the quarterback. He gets it away to Levi Paul for a gain of about 5 or 6 yards. They will mark it down probably around the 25-yard line, which is what they do.
And there again, you got the Sam linebacker and Vince Schiffner and Jason Brown, the veteran middle linebacker, closed on that very fast. Hold it to a 5-yard gain. They got more young kids in there in the secondary and in the linebacker core.
2nd and 5. And Sitch fakes the handoff, takes the ball in himself, and he will pick up a couple yards, maybe 3, but I think he's going to be well short of the first down, but they're going to go for it anyway. I would suspect.
He's got a very long yard to go. Now, this will be interesting how the Huskies play this. Are they going to go in tight? Because they just might play action this and try to go for the whole ball of wax.
Out of the shotgun. There's the handoff to Laviolette, and he is going to be piled up behind the line of scrimmage for a loss, and the Huskies will take the football over with 1:10 to go at the Regina 25-yard line.
The young man who made the play off that on the replacement Sam linebacker, Steve Wolninsky, and he really came off the edge well. This is what is impressive with the Huskies, with them being able to dress as many guys as they can. You look at their backups, they don't see much of a drop-off from their starters. They just come hard.
I was just looking down at the bench again, and probably the happiest guy out there right now is Coach Jeff Tobert.
Oh, I would think
He's done a great job with this defense, and I'll tell you what, they've done a great job in this football game. There's the handoff. It is taken by number 21, Quade Smith, and Smith from Olds High School plows ahead for a gain of about 5 yards, and they'll mark it down at the 20.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's Ty Smith carrying the ball from Olds.
Okay, I've got it.
Quade is the defensive back.
Yeah,
Quade's the defensive back, but Ty he's a good back. And when you're playing behind Airy and Burzak, you don't get a lot of playing time.
He's a big halfback as well. There's the play action, and now Yanchuk will take off with it. Jumps over one defender into the end zone. Touchdown, Tommy Yanchuk.
Wow. He's learning from Jimmy Airy. I can hurdle these guys. They ran that's that little zone read, and he took off running, and it shows his speed.
Watch this again.
Yeah, it's look at that burst there. Now there's the hurdle, and that was beautiful hurdling form. He could teach Jimmy Area two things about hurdling. He must have run the high hurdles in high school.
It sure looked like it. He had perfect form. There was no question about that. 61-30 in favor of the Huskies over the Regina Thunder. And with 38 seconds to go, it's now 62-30. And I ask the simple question, who'd have thunk?
Well, halfway through the first quarter, you might have.
Yeah.
Halfway through the third quarter, not a chance. But again, this is Prairie football. The momentum, the Huskies, they withstood the pressure, and they just came on and just kept getting better and better. Got a couple of breaks offensively and made some things happen.
What a confidence builder this has to be to the entire football team.
Absolutely. And when the rest of the league sees this, they say, uh-oh, because this team's for real now.
You know, I talked with Coach Scott McCauley about this very fact. You know, the last couple of years, it's been the Saskatchewan teams that have dominated. And I said, how does it feel to have another team in the mix? And he said, this is great. It's great for the league. It's great for the Huskies.
It is. And, you know, Coach McCauley does such an outstanding job there in Regina as the Saskatoon Hilltop guys. There's Shane O'Samuel again. This time going right through the return man.
And the return man was Avery Pierce, and another good long kick from Cole Savarin. Took it at the goal line. And
we have a penalty on the field. Rough play on the Thunder. This ball's coming back to about the 10-yard line.
There it is. And you called it. What a hit by O'Shane Samuels.
Just came right through him, and he's going at such speed. He doesn't slow down for anybody. I mean, he's the type of guy to come down a ski hill and a tree gets in his way. He's just coming through it. He's not going to stop.
15-yarder.
15 yards.
And that's going to take the ball all the way back to the 1-yard line.
You know, it's interesting because you look at the score, and this really is not what the game has been. But at the same time, the score has been well earned by the Huskies.
Here's a chance for Laviolette from the 1-yard line. He's at the 40, 50, and is finally knocked out of bounds just in front, just before the 50-yard line. They'll say about the 47-yard line. And that's the reason he is one of the top running backs in the country.
Now we have a new corner out there. Is it 39 for the Huskies? And when you look at it, that's Dwight Francis. He got ran over on that play. The wide receiver.
Welcome to the PFC,
That's
Dwight.
exactly right. And this is what's good. They get into play. They're going to get playing time. And I'm sure they're going to leave these guys in. They won't. I doubt if they'll put the starters in. They'll just, you guys go out and play. And let's see what you can do.
So that run by Laviolette totaled about 47 yards.
Yeah.
And that'll add to his total.
Sure won't hurt it at all. And you look again with the Huskies, you look at the wide side halfback now, it's Tim Hay. He's the third string half. Actually, they got him down a strong corner, but he's playing the half. And, you know, so you take a look at these things. They're getting all their young guys in, getting them some playing time. And I know that Coach McCauley will have the same thing. It's like if you look at a young quarterback he's got in there, get these guys and we'll save our guys for next week.
Now the Huskies have not gone to any kind of real deep pressure as far as the blitz is concerned. They've stuck with that 3-4 defense, and really it's done them well. And again, the defensive line, the linebackers coming up big. There was a huge tackle by number 46, Gabriel Zadie out of Skona, and he's another rookie, 6'2", 220.
Yeah, a rookie middle linebacker, and there you go. So, you know, they've got these young kids that can play. And the beautiful thing is they're practicing behind very, very good players, and they're practicing opposite very good offensive line every day in practice. So it's just going to make them better and better. And how would you like to be a linebacker and have to tackle in practice Burzak, Airy, Lonhart, Yanchuk? I mean, it's tough. So you get good or you won't be there.
Sitch is the quarterback. for Regina. He hands it off to Laviolette. Laviolette will try the left side and cannot get outside. He is taken down, and in there to help out on the tackle was Timothy Hay from Harry Ainley, second-year guy. And he does a good job filling in on that side.
Absolutely, and now, you know, it looks to me like they're just trying to pile up Laviolette's stats.
Yeah.
And I would do the same thing. He's a very, very good back, and they've only allowed to bring so many. This will be the last play of the game.
Barring a flag, there's the handoff up the middle to Laviolette. He plows ahead for a gain of maybe 10 yards or so, and that will be the football game. And the Edmonton Huskies maintain their unbeaten record here in the Prairie Football Conference, and likely their #1 ranking in Canada with a 62-30 victory over the Regina Thunder. The Regina Thunder are going to go back to Regina very beat up. No question about that.
They will be, and again, you get a very, very physical game like this. When you win, the hurt doesn't hurt so much. When you lose like this, it hurts, and I don't know, I believe they bust out, and if they did, that is a long bus ride when you're hurting physically.
Well, I guess the one good thing for Regina is they don't have to play Saskatoon again unless it's in the playoffs.
Well, that is a good thing.
So
I just hope for them that all their boys are healthy and that they can come back and play next week.
There were a number of injuries, particularly to their to the linebacking core and defensive secondary. They took a few hits today, as did the Huskies, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
Well, there's going to be a lot of bruises, but like I said, when you win, it just doesn't hurt quite so much. And the other part of it is that when you're playing the way the Huskies are right now, you're the hard hitting out here. You don't get so many injuries. The one thing about, if you look at the Thunder today, when 26 got his head snapped coming across on Sam Clayton on that crossing route, he was going after the ball and then did what he should have done. It's just a freak that he got when he came back in and made the hit down here. And I still believe that it was that first hit that was what hurt him. And that's a young man I'd be a little concerned about whether he's going to be able to go next week.
Well, they say a lot of injuries happen on the football field when you let up a little bit. And the Huskies, I don't think, have any intention of letting up at all.
No.
They certainly did not, even as they piled up the score here in the fourth quarter. They did not let up a bit. They brought their youngsters out there, and those youngsters, of course, are giving it all they can to impress the coaching staff.
Absolutely, and along with that, if you take a look at the way they played, they made mistakes, and it cost them. And the Thunder is good enough. You make a mistake against them, you'll pay. And they did pay. But it didn't stop them. They kept coming hard, and they kept coming back over and over again.
Well, the one thing that did hurt the Regina Thunder, maybe more than anything else, really, is the penalties that they took, particularly in that third quarter, the second and third quarters.
And as Coach McCauley and Coach McLean will both say, penalties are drive killers. And whether you're doing something really well on defense, then you get a roughing call. On offense, you get a holding call, or you get a roughing call. All of a sudden, the momentum changes in a game.
All right, let's go downstairs. And Kevin Donnan, you have Connor Bergerson with you.
I do have Connor Bergerson, and I mean, give us a sense of just how physical this game was. There was a lot of big hits out there.
Super physical. They're tough competitors, and we knew that was going to be the case. We prepared for that. We knew we were going to get faced with adversity. All our guys came to play. We took shots. This was a good test of how tough we were. You saw a lot of guys. Jimmy Airy, I'm thinking of specifically, got a tough shot down the middle, got right back up like it doesn't even matter. You know, this was a good showing of how tough our guys are.
How big of a play was that? That was right in front of the bench. Airy gets leveled, but he popped right back up. What did that do for the Husky bench?
Oh, it lit us right up. You know, that puts a stamp on the fact that, you know, you can't hurt us. You can't take us down. You got to bring more than that. You know, you got to put all your weight in everything, and even that, you know, that's not good enough. And tough guys we got, you know, huge, lit us up. It was kind of drying out. They started to come back, and and that was a huge fire starter, I guess you could say.
Now, looking ahead to next week, Winnipeg, you can't take anything for granted. You know you've got the Hilltops coming in here at home 2 weeks from now. But what do you plan? What's in store for next week?
Tough tail end on our season. This is going to be the hardest games we've played, one after another. But we're just going to keep doing us. People have said we're underrated or we think we're underrated. People have said we haven't faced tough competitors yet. We faced a tough competitor today, and I hope that's a statement. But next week's we got to be even better. It's instead of 30 points, we want 0. We want our defense shutting them out. We want offense scoring even more points, and that's what we see. This every single week is a step up. Is how we got to see it.
Well, and I think you have made the statement today. The Huskies are for real.
Oh, we are for real, sir. We're more than for real.
You bet. Well, good luck the rest of the way. Good luck in Winnipeg next week. And let's send things back upstairs to Dave and the coach, John Belmont.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And you want to talk about an offensive football game. The net offense for the Edmonton Huskies, 582 yards.
How you doing, big fella?
Big plays.
You're all right.
Number of big plays.
All right, and for the Regina Thunder, 467 yards. Tell you what, we're going to go right back downstairs because Ian McLean is there.
I think I got photo, but is that what they call a photo bomb? Or is that I guess that would be a whatever we call it. It doesn't matter, really. You know what? I mean, the critics were saying, or, the observers were saying that you hadn't really been tested yet, but I'd say you've passed the first test.
Yeah, I mean, the lull in the middle is something that we're going to focus on. I think they have an elite quarterback. They have a very good offense, and they tested us, tested what we were doing. Offense is able to put up some points, and defense got stops when we needed to. We still got to clean things up. I mean, penalties are still something we want to make sure we're taking care of. We can't hurt ourselves. That's something we got to take care of. I got to be better. I can't ask for a freaking kickoff return when we're up and the 5 minutes left, but we all got to get better. So
now tell us a little bit about that, because as we were talking about, the talk was you hadn't been tested yet. The players knew what was on the line, what they had to prove, the kind of statement they had to make. So talk to us a little bit about the emotions of this game. The emotions were swinging all over the place. There were some undisciplined penalties. How do you fix that going forward? How do you keep that emotional balance there?
We've been talking since the very beginning of the year that we have to focus on the next week. So now we're going to enjoy this for 24 hours, a little less than 24 hours. We got practice tomorrow, but we now are focusing on Winnipeg. We'll clean up the stuff from this game, and now we got to focus on Winnipeg. And I've been trying to tell the guys all year, and I think we're seeing it come to fruition, and guys buying into it. Is we got to play for each other. I don't care who we're playing. We're going to prepare and do all those things. We got to play with 12 guys on the field, and if we can do that, we'll be okay. We just need to make sure we keep the mentality.
Now, looking ahead to next week against Winnipeg, just how kind of fortunate is this team to be able to get out on the road, bond together as a team, get into another tough game, and then get back here for Saskatoon. So how important is that to keep the team together and keep that bond going?
Winnipeg's a tough team. I mean, they got a great running back, good offensive line. They do good things on defense. I think their defensive line leads the leagues in sacks and pressures. So I mean, it's going to be another commando trip. We're going to fly in, fly out, play the game. And we got to make sure that we just keep that mental focus and play for each other. If we keep playing for each other, we'll be fine. We just have to make sure we keep doing that.
Well, good luck next week and keep the good times rolling. Congratulations. That is head coach Ian McLean of the Edmonton Huskies. And let's send things back upstairs to Dave and the coach, John Belmont, for some final thoughts. Guys?
Well, I'll tell you what. My final thought is that I'm hoping that a bunch of Edmonton Huskies football fans were going to be heading down with the team to Winnipeg for that game against the Rifles. Your final thoughts, sir?
I agree with you. I think the Huskies, this is a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
They can do it offensively. They can do it defensively. Their special teams are playing very well. They've got a nice blend of young players with veteran players. But if you look at it, when adversity hits them on the field, even though we might be uptight up here and seeing what's going on, they just play. Mm-hmm. And they've done that over and over again. And in a tough game like this today, they showed that they are capable of playing with the best, and they can be the best.
All right, 62-30 the final score. And for a wrap-up, let's go down to field level. And again, here is Kevin Donnan.
Well, there we go, Dave. Thank you. That concludes our Week 7 coverage of and our ICU broadcast of the 2017 Prairie Football Conference here at Clarke Park. On behalf of executive producer Rob Zitla, we'd like to thank our entire broadcast crew, the hardest working crew in cyberspace, technical advisor and camera Dave Foley, our director Connor O'Donovan, our switcher Alex Testowich, our cameraman Matt Mosowich, and of course Terry Farina, our eye in the sky. Now coming up next on ICU Video's broadcast coverage of Prairie Conference football, you can rejoin us again as we take a 1-week break. Coming up on Saturday, October 7th, the Huskies host the Saskatoon Hilltops in what could be another big playoff preview right here at Clarke Park. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock, and make sure you join us then. And thank you for joining us once again here on ICU Video. I'm Kevin Donnan. The final score, the Edmonton Huskies, they stay perfect at 6-0 with a big 62-30 win over the Regina Thunder. Good afternoon from Clarke Park in Edmonton.